Welcome. I'm Chris Gore. This is the Film Threat Podcast. It's a Friday. I am pre-coffee, so my apologies, folks. You're gonna have to bear with me as I coffee up to talk about so many movies today with my partner in crime, Alan Ng, the editor-in-chief of FilmThreat.com. Let's get this thing started. Let's go on a Friday. So many people in the chat. So much to talk about. Let's just go. And we're back. Hey, everybody. Big show today. So much to discuss. And I just logged on, and Alan's right there.
Yeah.
Dutiful as always. We had a great live stream on Wednesday night where we talked about Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
We talked 2 hours about Sonic the Hedgehog. So,
Right. No, it was fun. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it a lot today. I actually I have a little video to show. Of a Q&A from the AMC Burbank 16 where the director and some of the cast was there. It's a 3-minute video. I could have shot more, but it was just everyone was sort of fanning out, like fanboying and fangirling. Can you say that anymore? Can you say fanboying and fangirling?
No, if we stop saying it, then no one can say it. So
no, we're gonna say it. But so much to talk about today. We're gonna get to all of it, I promise you. And we have a special guest, the writer-director of a film that is out today called Chariot, small indie movie. That'll be at the end of the show, but stick around because this is what we do here at Film Threat. We talk about the movies opening on the weekends, or at least on our Friday show. We talk about indie movies you probably hadn't heard about. We might even talk about some movies you don't care about. And I know Alan is going to talk about one I really don't care about today.
I have another one that I think people might care about.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, you took a bullet for the team because as soon as you brought it up, I said, I have no interest in that movie. Don't care. And I feel that way about a lot of things, actually. Like, I'm just like, don't care. Doesn't matter. And fine. And also, I don't care that it exists. It can exist without my caring about it.
Yeah. And I guarantee you by the end of the review, you still won't care about it. So.
Oh, even better. Well, let's before we get to that, follow us on everything. We are Film Threat on Instagram, Twitter. What are some of the other ones? Facebook. Do people still use
TikTok?
That? We are at Film Threat on TikTok. We actually have a Film Threat TikTok. And also, if you want to support our work, you like what we do, well, why don't you buy something? Why don't you buy like this? Like, you could buy this shirt I'm wearing or a Film Threat mug. And our t-shirts, as always, Film Threat t-shirts, they cure nudity on contact. And I know because we have a little scrolling thing that says that. It says Film Threat t-shirts cures nudity on contact. So with that out of the way, let's get right to it, Alan, and see let's see who's in the chat and everybody. Yeah. There is no Film Threat MySpace, says Shelby AC. That's okay. There you go.
We need to get on that.
Yeah. And then a couple quick questions here. Let's go. Movie Homicide says, hey, Chris, do you plan on seeing the upcoming Evil Dead Rise? I will see that. I like it. Sort of depends, though, with stuff like that. I look at it, I'm like, well, who's involved? Is Sam Raimi involved? Is it an all-new cast and not Sam Raimi involved? And I could change my mind. The Sound of One Man Laughing says, finally, Sound of One Man Laughing, thank you. Saw RRR last night, just great. A movie, happy to be a movie instead of gritty realism, but the 3 hours do not fly by.
No.
I would disagree. I think it depends. I like to get, when I go, I get the big popcorn. And then, pro tip, if you go to AMC, it's free refills if you get the large popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
And I take advantage of it, and it lasts the 3 hours. So I will say it flew by for me. But I don't know. But thank you for going to see that. It's nice to see someone and hey, someone says, hey, Alan and other guy.
Yeah. Hey, Sound of One Man Laughing. I see your tweets. I just need to let you know. I see your tweets. So
okay, there you go. Good. I don't know. My whole thing on Twitter is I post and ghost now. That's what I do. I used to like engage, and now I'm just like, I'm just gonna post and then like just not do anything. So there you go. Oh, Lee Kindler says saw RRR over the weekend, had a blast. We need more Indian films getting theatrical releases stateside. That's actually happening more and more. At AMC, they call it their artisan brand. And what it means is this is a movie that's not getting a wide release. It's not on thousands of screens. It's on hundreds of screens. Still a decent release. And it also sometimes it plays odd hours, like 1:45 in the afternoon or 4:00 show only that day. So you do need to look for it. I always look at like there are certain screens, and I think it has to do with, look, state of California is you go to pockets of California, and I mean, I'm generally, not so much in Pasadena, but in other places, I'm in the minority. What can I say? I also don't care. I don't care. You go to certain parts, it's more Asian or this, it's more Latino, and so what? But that's great that what they're trying to do is they're trying to appeal to different demographics, not just sort of your broad, wide release films like Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And look at something like an RRR. Could this movie do well if we put it on 100 screens and we do like 2 shows a day, right, in the afternoon? And I'm happy to see. Thank you for taking me up on that. I know it's weird. I know it's weird, and because I don't know, I just appreciate that you're like, I'm gonna go outside. It's sort of like when you try a new food, and my taste in food is very pedestrian. Okay, my taste in food is very pedestrian. I am like, you know what, burger and fries, I'm good. I guess I'll have a salad with chicken on it, but for the most part, my taste in food, my palate is very narrow. But when it comes to movies, I have a wide taste. I've only recently got into like, my girlfriend's gotten me into like, you should have sushi more. You should try this thing. You should, and I'm like, all right, and I'm actually enjoying it. So, until recently, my palate was pretty narrow. What can I say about that?
Yeah,
so
it sounds very bland.
It's very bland, but I will say this: like, I think it's important when it comes to media. And that applies to television, that applies to news consumption, that applies to, social media use, like just broaden it out. So there you go.
I know a website that promotes a broad diversity in independent film.
Yeah, well, that would be filmthreat.com. That's us, folks. Justin Falzone says, I eat like 0 fruits and vegetables. I'm not planning on sticking around late. Well, there you go. I don't know. I will say this. I love a good orange, or, I don't know. I actually like fruit. So some berries. Just like Bruce Wayne likes berries. There's some berries there. He's eating berries in the morning and then throws his sunglasses on. That was a weird scene. So
this food talk is amazing. We went to the AMC Fullerton last night.
Oh, nice.
I had a full-on meal there. That was pretty fun.
You can the dine-in is really good. I'm stalling because I want to get more people here so we can continue our chat, but I get to the big movies that we're going to talk about today, and we do have a lot to talk about. But yeah, that AMC Fullerton is good. You just order, you sit in your seat, and they just they deliver you the popcorn.
Oh yeah, everything. And they used to sell sushi, which was great, and then they stopped selling it for some reason.
Well, all I can say is this: if you ever get like airport sushi, aren't there jokes about that? Wasn't there a bit like about
oh my god,
that? Like,
supermarket sushi is the
supermarket
word.
Sushi never. Yeah, I always go to a place where they make sushi, and then also there are all those things where like they it's not quite sushi; it's like imitation crab. Why would you want that? I don't want imitation anything
because you can't afford the real crab.
There you go. So there you go. Jinx says more people on Twitter Spaces. More and more I see, but what I don't like about Twitter Spaces, if I could talk about that for a bit, because for a minute, a friend of mine was like, you got to do Twitter Spaces. You got to do Twitter Spaces. Here's why I don't like it, is because the comment that you just made there, JNNX, I can't respond to. So only one person can talk at a time and people can raise their hand. Screw that. I want a more engaged conversation. I want you to be able to comment, and whether I read your comment or not, I see it and I can guide the conversation that way, or I can highlight someone like Patrick Lemire, who says, I like the idea of Alamo, but people getting their food all the time breaks the spell. Patrick, I agree with you. The Alamo is sort of like all around, like they actually don't have a refreshment counter. You actually have to order everything from your seat. There's no other choice on these little pencils and stuff, which is what they used to do back in Austin, Texas back in the day. That's what they would do is like, but I feel like they need something different. I think the AMC model I prefer because most people get their food before and the AMC, it's like 20 minutes of trailers every movie, which I personally like that you've got 20 minutes of trailers. Cause I know it's like, well, I bought tickets for the movie at 3. I can get there at 3:15. I haven't missed anything. As soon as Nicole Kidman comes on, everybody cheers. Why does everybody cheer when she's on?
Because it's Nicole Kidman, and a lot of us love her. And
I think it's because the movie's gonna start. So, and JNNX says, Chris recognized me. I can die happy. Meow. Well, you could, yes, there you go. But someone brought up the Twitter Spaces. I think it was you, JNNX, and I feel that there's something about it. It's audio only. There's not the kind of engagement. Like I can't like show you a video. I can't there's not the kind of engagement that we're having here right now, where we're building an audience. We can all engage. You can actually have a separate conversation from Alan and I that kind of comments on what we're saying, and you can say. Geek Truth 64 says, I mean, Chris eats chicken fingers without sauces like a heathen. That's probably true. And I will say hail to everyone in the chat. Spider Geronimo says hail Chris, Alan, and chat. Yeah, Twitter Spaces I feel is limiting. And there was what was that other app?
Classroom?
What was it called?
Was it Classroom?
Not Classroom. It was something else. And I got an account and then I got a lot of followers. Clubhouse, right. Yeah. And I did a couple of Clubhouse things and I just found it like, it's like, it got dark. Some of the ones I listened to got really dark. And I could not believe the kinds of things that the hateful stuff that people were saying. It was, yeah.
Yeah, I also think that both Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse were products of the pandemic. You were stuck at home.
Right.
It was a great place to meet. But now that, a lot of things that I did during the pandemic, like watch Twitch, I'm not doing it as much anymore. And
yeah. I just, Clubhouse had its minute. Twitter Spaces is trying. Film Facet says, your latest tweet about not wanting to know opinions of celebrities, I agree with that sentiment. I think most people have this mindset. I agree. I kind of feel like the less I know about celebrities, like let's go back to when they were mysterious. We didn't know anything about, you just, they have their opinions, which is perfectly fine. But, I don't need to know that. And I think it does, after a while, it does impact how you see them on screen. I feel like, so.
We talked about the Oscars. I mean, the Oscars used to be this big event of pomp and circumstance, the stars coming out. And then now that we know what the stars think and then think about us, I think social media has kind of ruined the Oscars as much as the Oscars itself.
Yeah, I've been on Twitter since I think 2009, and I sort of used it differently. First, I was like just putting out news. Then I was sort of shit posting and trolling people. Then I kind of went through every phase of how people use Twitter. Then I was like trying jokes. I'm 100% certain there's something in my Twitter past that will get me canceled today. 100%. So I have a friend that she deletes all her tweets every year. She just goes once a year and she deletes all of her tweets and then sort of wipes the slate clean. I think I would probably wipe all my Twitter probably just before a certain date and just leave it at that. So there you go. And Paul's NYC says, listened to a Twitter Spaces last night. Chris is correct. Like being on a phone call video with seeing the speakers is much better. I agree. It's like being on a phone call, but you can't talk because you can raise your hand. And then by the time I've got like, oh my God, I have a great comment. If they call on me right now, boom, I'm dropping the hammer. And it just, I don't know. I'm not
passes and the moment's gone.
I like this. I can have a conversation with Alan. I can mute Alan if I want. Alan can mute me. I don't care. It's we can talk to all of you. We can respond to what you're saying. You can ask a question and I just prefer, and I'm loving, YouTube and talking to you. And Star Wars Story, please do not search my podcast. There you go.
Yeah, we're gaining some momentum here. We gotta.
Don't
we gotta
delete
take it
Twitter.
back down.
Spider Geronimo says, "Don't delete Twitter comments. Delete Twitter." I agree. I'm definitely gonna get James Gunn. Can I tell you exactly when it's gonna happen? I know when it's gonna happen. There is a film that has been in the works for about a decade called Film Threat Sucks. It's a documentary about the rise and fall of film threat in the 90s. And when that movie comes out or starts playing at festivals, that's when people that don't know my work are going to start to like investigate, and that's when it'll happen. And that will probably be about a year from now. So you heard it here first. That's my prediction. Before we get started with reviewing our first movie, and what are we going to talk about first? I'll tell you what we're going to talk about first in just a second. I just want to say, slap that like button. Slap that like button if you have not, and if you are not a subscriber to the channel, make sure that you slap the like button. Slap the like button. Hit the bell for notifications and subscribe if you haven't done so already.
Oh, wow.
You have to do it. You have to subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed before and you just sort of happened upon this. Maybe you saw me on Film Courage. Maybe you saw me on Friday Night Tights, which is a show I'll do on occasion. I'm doing Friday Night Tights. It's a week from today. A week from today, I am going to be on Friday Night Tights. So I'll be doing the Film Threat Livecast in the morning, and in the afternoon, boom, FNT. So if you've discovered me through one of those things, I appreciate it, and we hope we're building something here. So there you go. Chet's mom 4 says, 43, only 43 likes. There's like north of 60 people watching. We gotta get that up to 100. But come on, smash that like button, folks. So yeah. And then one quick last comment here from Solomon Thornton says, "I'm glad that social media was not as big when I was younger, because my niece and nephew are growing up in this weird world where social media is everywhere." And that's my concern about social media, is that it's changed our psyche in ways. I'm just going to be, straight up. It's made people into assholes. That's what it's done. It's turned people into assholes. And then I go out and I'm like, oh my God, look at all this. Like, look at the way people talk to each other. That's horrible. And then I go out in real life and everybody's nice.
Yeah.
I go to Target, I go shopping. I go to Trader Joe's. People are nice. I go to my bar, the 35er in Pasadena. Everybody's nice to each other. It's like they're not on social media. And there you go. So, Paul's NYC. Chris, yes. FNT. Chicago Box. It's a Gundam on FNT today. FNT is my Friday ritual. I don't sit and watch it. It's on in the background while I'm doing a ton of things.
It's a long show. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like 5-6 hours longer sometimes, which I love. This is not a complaint. So yeah, and Spider Geronimo, this could be, is this sort of a pre-FNT show? Maybe. I mean, in a way, like, I love a lot of what they do on FNT. So, and before we get to our first review, I want to say something. I want to say something really quick about movies with subtitles. We talked about this on our Wednesday Hollywood on the Rocks. I'm not sure everybody has seen this, but many of you may have concerns about seeing a movie that has subtitles. The movie RRR, it's in Hindi, or is it Tagalog? What is there are a couple of different major languages. It's like Mandarin and Cantonese in China. But these are movies that are subtitled. I have been watching movies with subtitles since I was a kid. I grew up with them. Doesn't bother me. I know a lot of you watch anime. I prefer the subtitled versions because I want the original actor's performance preserved. So I am a subtitles guy, but it has been brought to my attention that subtitles could be an issue. So please watch this informative video. It's under a minute, and I think we would all benefit from this. So here we go.
So cool up here on the balcony.
Totally. Hey, what's this about this movie being in another language?
Yeah, you have to read what they're saying?
Sounds pretty weird. I'm gonna go get some popcorn.
Okay.
Excuse me, sorry.
que me sientas, estar
You
contigo.
are
Ven a mí, pequeña florecita, quiero tenerte
precious.
más cerca.
Subtitles. They're not just un-American. They kill.
So
That'd be a warning. Let that be a warning.
that's a little promo that was done years ago, just to promote the website. It was done like in the early 2000s, and I thought that you would find that entertaining. It's part of a series, and we have another video. We'll show that another time, but that's part of that series, and I hope you enjoyed that. Subtitles. So there you go. They can kill. Alan, let's get into your first review.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Northmen. We're going to talk about Ambulance, but there's a movie that's also in theaters.
Yeah, speaking of subtitles that make you want to jump off a balcony.
Well, here. Okay, so Aileen, is this is your okay? Aileen, I don't care about this, but Alan, please give us your. You can go over a minute. I mean, I don't care about this movie. Maybe this review will convince me. I don't even know what Aileen is about. Is it Celine Dion?
Yeah, yeah. So Aileen is inspired by the life of Celine Dion, and it stars Valérie Lemercier. It's weird. It's listed as kind of a comedy drama. It goes through Celine Dion's life, and Valérie plays her, and she wrote, directed it. She sings in it. She does all the Celine Dion songs. And it's heavily subtitled because she's from Montreal and or Quebec. And you know what? This is it feels like it's a fan love letter to the greatest singer of the world, Celine Dion. I know the comments are gonna come. She married her manager, who's a lot older than her, and she was a teenager when she did it. And the first half of this 2-hour movie is about this romance between her and her manager. And it's you know what? It is what it is. If you're a fan of Celine Dion, you might just like this one, but I don't think I can convince you to see this movie.
So is it like a biopic of her?
Yeah, it's absolutely a biopic. And it's weird because they give you the warning up front that this is inspired on her life. They changed names, but that the players are, and so it's not a strict interpretation of her real life, but it hits all the high points, hits all the, she comes from a big family, a big poor family. She has this amazing voice. She gets a record contract, tours the world, falls in love with her manager. It's clear that she's the one who fell in love with him, and he was resistant. There's a great line where the mother confronts him about his feelings toward daughter, and at one point he says, that's her feelings. We've never done anything, and she's upset because she wished that they had sex, because his fat, blubbery body would probably gave her disdain towards sex altogether.
So I am confident in reporting that nothing you said has convinced me that I want to see it. And now I sort of like glance over and I see it could say Alien instead of Aileen. I have no interest in that film whatsoever.
Yep.
Don't care about a biopic about her. All I remember is she's the Titanic chick, and she's been on the Oscars a couple times. So there you go.
Yeah, she sings that song in this movie. At least the lead actress.
Oh, so there we go. Patrick Lemire says groomed a love story. So there you go. Chicago box. It's probably a lot more popular in Canada, eh? So so there you go. And Luke James says my super chat went through but didn't show. Hope it got sent. Oh yeah. Why I don't see it.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't see the super chat. I wonder. I'm sorry, Luke James. We will look into that. We're going to be on for a couple more hours, so we'll get that handled. So Shane Mackey, my friend Shane Mackey from Atlanta. How's it going there? my drinking buddy at Dragon Con says, when can I see Alien versus Predator? See, that would be great. Why doesn't someone make a Celine Dion imitator and then just get murdered by a predator? And it's sort of like Bambi meets Godzilla. It's like just a 1-minute movie. Yeah. And Gabriel says, the Titanic chick, dang, man. Okay, yes.
She warranted a movie. And the thing is, it's such a uplifting, positive movie that it's just that's where the eye roll comes in.
I'm being a bit cheeky. It's look, I'm pre-coffee. This is what you get. When I'm pre-coffee, I'm a little curmudgeonly. I'm a little angry there. So you're gonna get that. And then Chet's Mom 4 says, I'll wait for the Mackenzie brothers version of the Celine story. You know, and then Gabriel says, well, I mean, I agree, but yeah. Alien versus Preda. Crap, Chris just made my joke. There you go. No, I think was it in the chat here somewhere. I'm sorry. And then Film Fast. I bought a Film Threat mug last week. Looking forward to that. I was gonna buy the home video format shirt. I see you but wasn't listed on the site anymore. Will you be getting any more in? Oh, which one is that? Is that the one that says like VHS? Yes. God, Film Facet, remind me. I gotta send because we're doing a revamp of the story so we can actually add more stuff. But yeah, that one, it sort of says VHS, Laserdisc, 4K Blu-ray. We'll get that in. Remind me, Film Facet. Thank you for that. Hit me up on social media too. Maybe if you give me your address, I might send you something, a little care package of stuff that's not on our shop. So there we go. Scott McElhaney says, it's early. So thank you for I'm pre-apologizing for pronunciations here. Are we talking about the old lady from Titanic? No, we're talking about the Celine Dion who she sang the song for Titanic, you know, the something heart is
My heart will go on.
My heart will go on. Yeah. My heart will go on. We've already talked way more about this movie than I care to talk about.
You kept warning me. You have a minute to talk about this. And,
exactly.
I mean, deservedly so, but
exactly. So let's get into this. I want to talk a little bit more about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And real quick, you can watch our Wednesday live stream. We really took a deep dive into it, and Bobby Schwartz, who actually does video work for the Film Threat YouTube channel. He's a Sonic super fan, and he came on the live stream and just schooled us with everything Sonic the Hedgehog. So in terms of the character and the history and the cartoons and the comics and whatnot. So you don't need to we're just going to go through this briefly, Alan. We've both seen this movie, but I just want to talk about it, that I was getting a couple text messages from people that yeah, you were right. It's fun. It's the thing is people have to manage their expectations. Mm-hmm. What movie do you think you're about to see? If I'm going to see the Northman, I have a certain expectation, right? And if I go see a Michael Bay movie called Ambulance, I have a certain expectation. And if I go see Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I don't think I'm about to see Citizen Kane, right? So I tend to judge a film. I adjust the scale based on the type of movie. So is Sonic the Hedgehog, I'm not going to say is the Northman a good video game movie because it's not based on a video game, right? Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is based on the video game series Sonic the Hedgehog. So already you've lowered my expectations because there have not been very many good video game movies. This is probably among the best, if not the best, because tone-wise, it really hits the character and kind of expands on the world, and there's just a gazillion Easter eggs. And on that note, I have to warn everybody here that we're about to show a video, okay? This was shot at the AMC Burbank 16, where I saw the fan screening of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and the director of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 comes out, and some of the cast is there. The voice of Tails, the woman who does the voice of Tails, the actress is there. So I'm going to show you this video. It's little over 3 minutes. So if you want to bail and come back, because there's kind of one spoiler in it, I could try to cut it off sooner or whatever, but it's just great. You hear the love in the room. You hear them answer a couple questions. So, I'm not going to review the movie again. You can actually watch the review on our previous live stream, which our long conversation. But before we do that, I want to say Luke James
There we go.
with a 89 pound super sticker. Thank you, Luke James. It came through. There you go. Thank you for the super sticker. So there you are. But I want to warn you that there is like a spoiler at the end of this conversation. You can bail and come back in like the next 5 minutes, and we'll be talking about Ambulance. Let's segue into that. So Patrick Lemire asks a good question: is Sonic just a good movie if you're not a gamer? I would say that it is. Because it's about a weird alien hedgehog that comes to Earth and is being chased by this guy Egghead, played by Jim Carrey.
Dr. Robotnik.
Well, they call him Egghead too. Dr. Robotnik, and Jim Carrey's over the top in the best way because he's acting with cartoon characters, right? I mean, literally Sonic and Knuckles, and Idris Elba's Knuckles is really good. Tails, really good. They're all sort of consistent. So there you go.
Look, if you have kids, it's a solid choice to take it.
Solid choice, yeah. And Chris, that's a movie idea. The curmudgeon Chris. You don't want to cross him before he's had his coffee. Yes, Turo. That's true. That's true, Turo. But let's get to this video. Enough. I uploaded it here. It is 3 minutes and 38 seconds. If you want to bail. I do recommend you watch this. It's really cool. And this is sort of the fun part about still living in California. Not just $7 gas, folks. Not just $7 gas. But if you go to a movie, you never know. You never know who might pop up in your theater. So here we go. Again, your last warning.
Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Watch the movie. I'm over the moon at the response. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much. I want to make sure that I can FaceTime from New Orleans. Sonic, I got you! Also, who's this?
Was it okay?
Yeah!
Wasn't it awesome? Holy crap! Hey, thank you guys so much for coming. And you saw it early, so no spoilers though, right?
No spoilers!
But please tell everyone what you thought of the movie. Spread the love. We're really excited to be sharing this with all of you. We know you guys are really the hardcore fans. You're here for the advanced screening Wednesday night. We appreciate it. We love you all. None of this would be possible without you guys. Thank you for all the support through everything. This is a dream come true to do a Sonic movie on this scale, with this scope, with this action, with this amazing cast and crew. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much for all your support.
Yes, thank you.
Give yourselves a round of applause. You deserve it.
But everyone say, just so he can hear you real loud, we love you, Ben.
We love you!
He's a thank you.
I'm also joined by some other very important people on our team. Toby Asher, one of the producers. Are
you guys ready for Shadow? And these are our...
Wait, raise your hand. How many of you thought it was going to be Shadow? Okay, so pretty fair amount. Metal Sonic, how many thought it was going to be Metal Sonic? Okay, all right. So yeah, Shadow was the big vote, yeah. But we're all winners here tonight, right? I mean, come on. How exciting is that to see Shadow? All right, and we've also got our writing team here, Mr. Josh and Pat, our Josh Miller. Josh and Pat, I just know them as Josh and Pat. They're like,
thanks for coming on this ride with us. Did you guys do an incredible job or what? What a gigantic and I assume in part 3, none of the existing characters come back and we just want Big the Cat, right?
Yes!
All right, well, you got us, guys. You have questions, any comments? Now's the time. I mean, we're so happy, we're so thrilled to be here with you all. We knew, I mean, we've been out there in the hallway, listening to you guys react to everything. Sonic pulling the bubble underwater. I mean, like, I just knew we were with the right people, and just you guys clearly are catching all the Easter eggs. We love doing that stuff. It's so important to sort of pay homage to what makes these characters great. 30 years of the video games. We love doing it, and it's just so wonderful to hear you guys react that way and show the love and support. So thank you again.
You didn't say Sonic was going to be there.
I should have given you a warning. I should have given you.
Sonic was there. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. But no, it was a fun Q&A. They oh my god. They stuck around. There were a lot of questions, but it got into like really like I stopped filming there at that point because I was just like the questions were so inside base, just basically people sort of giving their theories and like what they'd like to see in the third one. But it's already been announced there will be Sonic the Hedgehog part 3. So, and they kind of set up some things that are going to happen. It's sort of a semi post credits type scene. I think it's sort of mid credits or the credits start and then like there's another scene. I think, obviously Marvel kind of started that, or, I like that that's now become a thing that people look for in every movie now. So, I mean, even in RRR, there's like this whole additional dance number and like scenes happening like as the credits are going. There's sort of resolving little epilogues to some of the storylines, RRR even of all things. So that was a lot of fun. And what's cool is everybody stuck around, and the director and the writers were actually, and the woman who did the voice of Tails was in the hallway. They took pictures with everyone. They stuck around for forever. It was crazy. That's why we were late on Wednesday night doing our live stream. So I hope that didn't ruin the movie too much for you, but it is sort of fun. And that to me really shows something, like when a filmmaker will like take the time to like engage directly with the fans. I think this is why this franchise, Sonic the Hedgehog as a film series, is so popular. You notice that there's no drama around this, right? Like there's no like, oh wow, they hate the fans, or they're hiding dislikes, or they're like, they're doing like weird. They're not doing anything weird, right? Like, that first trailer came out, people responded very negatively to it, and there were people like on social media doing a better version of Sonic that was done in that trailer. They went back and fixed it. They listened to the fans, and I think that is what we all want out of any franchise, is just, we want to be heard, right? We want to be heard. If we're a fan of a franchise and we've spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on Sonic games, merch, shirts, action figures, the cartoons, the DVDs, the whatever, I can't say I've spent that much on Sonic, although Sonic CD is my favorite one. I know that's old school, but like Sonic CD was my absolute favorite. I had it for the Sega CD. It was awesome. But I've certainly spent, when it comes to franchises like Batman and Star Wars, I have spent in the thousands. I have traveled to conventions. I've spent a lot of money. And I think we just want to feel like people listen to what we say as fans. And, in the chat, I'm hoping y'all agree that like,
I always say that it's, why, if you're going to make a film for fans, you should make it for fans.
Exactly.
You don't need to, we don't want you to change genders. We don't want you to change races. We want you to take that character, put them on screen, and tell the stories we've grown up with that character.
Well, that's a whole other rabbit hole we could go down.
Star Wars, yeah.
As the sort of lazy, let's take a legacy character that's been around and just sort of like switch one aspect of that character, and it's all new. And the basic expert says it's refreshing to see creators listen to fans and just want to make something people enjoy. It's how movies used to be. That's true. They all hung out, and I saw these people kind of hovering around. I'm like, what are they? There's clearly, and there was the person dressed in the Sonic costume, which was super fun. But like, it's like that attitude. Like that's what San Diego Comic-Con was all about. For those of you who've been going to San Diego Comic-Con for years, and I've been going for years, Alan, I know you've been going for years because, you used to live in San Diego and that are outside that area. And it's such a great, like that whole thing of engaging with fans. And I do not understand and will never understand that thing of like going after fans because they don't like a thing that's based on a franchise. It's like, you might want to listen to the people that have been giving money to this franchise for years. You may want to just like pay attention to what they're saying. So there you go. Infinite Main says, did Jim Carrey really quit Hollywood? He says that, but I think that's in the shadow, so to speak, of everything happening with the Oscars and Will Smith. And he said, you know, he looked at the Oscars and sort of just that whole show. And he said, you know, Jim Carrey's great comment was, he said, you know, we're not the cool kids anymore. We're not the cool kids anymore. We're not, you know, Hollywood and celebrities are not something that people look up to anymore. I think that has affected a lot of things. Super chat from Fletcher Williams. Thank you, Fletcher. There's nothing better when the studios actually care about what about the fans. Imagine that. Yeah, and Sound of One Man Laughing, I'll take my daughter to Sonic 2. Not only your daughter's going to love it and you will not be bored, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. It's sort of, it reminds me of like, you know, the early Pixar movies. I can't really speak for like where Pixar is going now. I think it's getting Disney-fied in not the best ways, and Disney's a whole other conversation, but it's entertaining on a level for adults, right? And it's entertaining for kids. So, in fact, you know what? I might go see it again this weekend, actually, just because you know, I want to support it, and I also like when the filmmakers listen to fans. It's something we don't get so much anymore. So
it's funny. I took my daughter to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, and she was more into that, and she's not into seeing Sonic at all.
And well, she would love it, actually, Alan. You should just take her.
She saw the first one. I wasn't that impressed.
Make her do it. Justin Falzone says it's not how Amazon is handling Rings of Power. That might be one of the most bungled in two ways. I did a video on Film Courage where they kind of show these two quotes, and one was from Peter Jackson, and then the other one was from the new producers behind the Rings of Power show, the Lord of the Rings show, and it was sort of two contrasting philosophies about how to approach J.R.R. Tolkien's work, and that is on the Film Courage channel. Alan always gets mad when one of my videos from Film Courage like blows up. He's like, why aren't you doing that for our channel? And I'm like, okay, put my face on a thumbnail, and then I see my face on a thumbnail, and I always cringe when I see.
Yeah, but we get so many views when
I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
We want views.
I want to be on the. I want to be the behind.
This face is not going to. It's not going to draw people.
No one wants to look at my face, much less me. All right, so but you're right, Justin. The way that they're handling the Rings of Power, where they're kind of like going after fans for not liking it. Look, if the fans don't like it, find out why the fans don't like it. I always liken it to. And you can look this up. This is a true thing that happened, and it's shocking. Domino's Pizza did a campaign where they basically admitted their pizza was terrible. And they said, we've listened to you. We've gone back to our recipe. This is a campaign from years ago, but you can find the videos on YouTube where they basically admit, like, okay, we know our pizza's crap and drunk college kids eat it. So whatever, but it's not very good pizza. So they went back. What's that?
Like new Coke.
New Coke. Yeah. Like when it comes to food products, if people don't like food products, do you go, you're just a dumb person with a tongue that doesn't work. Your tongue is stupid. You know, you have racist taste buds, you know, like just take a look at what it is you're doing. And in the food industry, they're very aware of like what works and what doesn't work. In some ways, kind of evil ways where they're putting sugar in things they shouldn't. Often when I'll like not eat bread for a little bit, then I go back to eating bread. Bread tastes like cake to me. There's so much sugar in it. It's really weird when you kind of cut your sugar consumption down, you realize like how much sugar is in things where it doesn't need to be. So I always look for like zero sugar or just very low sugar. But yeah, Justin Falzone, absolutely right. The way they're handling that, and we'll get to that when that comes out. I don't know how I've gotten so many TV series have like come along or streaming series while like start to watch the first couple episodes. And I just don't, I watched the first episode of Moon Knight and it didn't grab me. And I know there are other channels that are going to cover that way better than mine. You can look up, I don't know, Heel versus Babyface look up his channel. He's covering Moon Knight, or Nerdrotic Gary. He'll cover Moon Knight. It's just not something that really grabbed me enough. I've already got my Moon Knight. He's called Batman, and I'm going to stick with Batman. So There you go. But you're right. I just think, yeah, and Chicago Box, Moon Knight is not looking good. Every Disney Plus series, I'll watch the first couple episodes, and then I just am not like, I just feel like it's a waste of my time. It doesn't become appointment television to me. You know, I'd rather just watch some new indie movie. So, and Fletcher Williams says, smash that like button like Disney is smashing their stock or tanking their stock.
I know. There's got to be an Elon Musk moment when the stock hits a certain low price.
Yeah.
Swarm in and buy it.
Elon Musk should just buy a controlling share of Disney. That might help. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Oh, wow.
It's always important to hit that button. But let's I'm first of all enjoying all the comments here. Star Wars Terry, the biggest problem with Rings of Power is just making shit up out of whole cloth. I mean, I have a problem because not just that aspect, but the philosophy of the producers of the show, which I feel like, the producers of the show have kind of gone off the rails.
I want to speak to that for a second. It's like, when did the streaming services become so adverse to making money? Because you would think that they would want to produce content that the fans that their viewers want to see, and yet, and I think the difference also is the fact that with a movie in the theater, you see the box office numbers, you can see how tangibly how the public likes it, but you don't get that with streaming. And so when Rings of Power comes out, how are we really going to get a sense of what fans are saying about it other than YouTube videos like ours?
Yeah, Akanika says Film Courage doesn't have the courage to talk openly about politics in present day film. That's actually not true, because I have done that on that channel with Film Courage. I have discussed it. The thing is this, what I try to do is I try to not use the language that people within that space want you to use. There's certain type of language that people want you to use, and I refuse to adopt those terms. So
I don't think that's their purpose either.
That's not their purpose. Their purpose is more to instruct, inform, and inspire so that you'll go off and make your own movie. It really is inside baseball about making film, whether it's screenwriting or producing, and that should be kind of free of politics. And they've allowed me to kind of go a little off the rails and speak to that. Tucker Time. Wait, is that Jeff Tucker? Is that Jeff Tucker at Tucker Time? Jeff, when are you going to be on my livecast? You got to be on Hollywood on the Rocks on Wednesday nights. Tucker Time says Disney series are written via Mad Libs. That's true. It's true. It's so, oh my God, it's so true. So, and not to be a contrarian, says Paul's NYC, but Batman is a derivative of the Shadow. Still like my Batman, though. I agree with you. It is, I mean, like in its original history, what was it? Was it issue 27 of Detective Comics where Batman made his first appearance? Look, right there for you to see. This is an exact reprint with the original ads. You could get a printing press. No, I'm not. There it is. It's a printing press. So issue 7 comics. And what's so funny is Batman is a side story in this issue, because it's Detective Comics was like an anthology, and then it's like they went right into Batman. It was just like some of the comics are Cosmo the Phantom of Disguise. These are some of they're all like really short anthology comics. They were kind of just Plainclothes Pete is one of the comics. Like, this is bizarre stuff. So if you can find a reprint, because and here you go, the Batman very first appearance in a replica of.
Is that hyphenated too? Is Batman?
No, it's just the Batman. He's called the Batman. So, but let's get into it. We got a bunch of other films to review today. Wow, a lot to discuss. But I want to get into it, and thank you for your comments. We're kind of going to do comments in between each review, but I want to get into Ambulance. And Alan, are you going to talk about this one too? Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it, but I will give you my daughter's review. It's I saw everything in the trailer.
Wait, your daughter saw the movie?
No, she didn't, but she says now she has.
Yeah, well, okay. So let's get into it, right? Okay, so this is Michael Bay's return. Michael Bay returns to the genre that he knows best, which is action films. It's Jake Gyllenhaal leading a cast of people I kind of recognize, and it's let's jump right in. Okay, everything you've seen in the trailer, that's the movie. Your daughter is correct. It starts out with a heist gone wrong. The heist gone wrong leads to a cop getting shot. That cop is dying in the back of an ambulance while two of the guys who run the heist, who happen to be brothers. One is white, one is black. Okay, fine. They grew up as brothers, right? But that's the movie. And then there's a woman who's an EMT, and she's taking care of the cop who is bleeding out. Surgery has to be done on the fly. And so you've seen everything that's in the trailer. Now, as a Michael Bay movie, it's frenetic. Once they actually get to the ambulance, the entire movie is driving the whole movie. You know, it's like Keanu Reeves speed, right? Like it's just it's knowing LA, this is, and we'll get to that. Knowing LA, it was fun to see, like, oh, I know that part of LA. I know Koreatown. I know like I've been to everywhere that's in this movie. I've driven through it, if not been there. Okay. So I know it very well, including downtown. It's like, oh, wow, cool. There's the Ace Hotel. There's like all this other stuff I recognize. Right. But let's get into it. Jake Gyllenhaal is Unhinged. So the actors have done a great job. The actors in the movie, there's not a bad actor in the movie necessarily, but there is a question that everyone needs to ask for every movie now. And I get this question. You don't need to ask it in the chat. I'll answer it before you've asked it. Is it woke? Not that much. I would say it's 90% woke free with 10% wokeness embodied in a character that is, well, there's like this FBI agent that knows Jake Gyllenhaal that is gay, and he's in couples therapy with his husband. Okay. There's a little bit, it's a little forced, right? And then there's a character, I think her name is Zaga. That's her actual character name. And she's some snappy talking person, part of the police squad, she's sort of doing quippy stuff about, oh, you dumb white people. And, you know, first of all, the jokes aren't funny. If you're going to make jokes like that, at least make them funny. But she's just meant to be there to placate the woke crowd. So there you are. Yeah, there's a little bit of wokeness in it. It's cringe. It's forgettable. But the one thing that you'll notice, as is, you know, consistent with almost every Michael Bay movie, the script is so stupid, so over the top. There are points in the film where you're laughing at the movie because of how stupid it is. It's just downright stupid. And let's get to what some of the stupid things are in the film. I mean, people are just bursting out laughing because some of the things are like so just dumb. They're just dumb. Number one, the heist that takes place at the beginning of the movie is ridiculous because they talk about taking out the cameras, but they're not wearing masks of any kind. Like someone could sit there and go like, okay, someone might have like a phone and be like filming, shooting the heist, or there could be some camera they didn't disengage, whatever. Like all the people that are taking part in the heist, they don't have masks on. A couple of them have maybe like a little thing on them like that, but like they don't have masks. And one of the things I personally love about a heist movie is I want to learn to pull off my own heist. If for some reason I thought about I'd like to pull a heist someday. I'm not making this up. If I love seeing a movie that like it gets super into, whether it's like accounting or like just some sort of inside baseball thing, you know, like I want to be able to like learn a little bit about that thing. And in this heist, I learned nothing. So I've seen other heist movies. You know, you've got the Ocean's series, and you kind of learn something about like, you learn something about, oh, if you're going to pull off a heist, you got to worry about this, and this, and how do you get away, and what do you do? And there's none of that. You learn nothing in this movie. The other thing is that it's just dumb in terms of the geography. The geography of LA, they're talking about, quick, we got to do this before rush hour, right? And I just know that like, it can be 3 p.m, the 110 freeway is still going to be jammed. Okay. So them driving and speeding, I'm like, that's not going to happen in Los Angeles. The reality is it's always packed. So there were so many dumb aspects to this movie, so many dumb aspects. So I don't know. I was really, really like just like by the end, it's kind of like the movie is kind of worn out its welcome, and it just gets to ridiculous point. I'm not going to get into spoilers for the last third of the film. The last third of the film is just like, you're like, oh wow, this is how we're resolving it. Okay, this is stupid. So now, did I have a good time? The movie is not so much a movie as this is a ride. Like if there's a 4DX version, as anyone in the chat, like, have you ever like gone to see a 4DX movie? I would see this movie in 4DX. 100% I would see this movie in 4DX, because it's like this is the movie, and you're going and they're driving. It just okay, but it's that for 2 hours, you know, it's nonstop. So yeah, Chicago, and let's get to your comments here, but like it's like, look, did I have a good time? Yes. Is it a good movie? No freaking way. No way is it a good movie. And not like, I almost like, I'm sitting there, I feel like there was more realism in the train. I would more believe that sentient robots from another galaxy that come to Earth and beat the crap out of each other and then transform into trucks and cars, that is more realistic than ambulance. That's how bad it is. That's how bad. And it does sort of break the like reality, right? Like, you know, it doesn't feel real. And I think that there was a blown opportunity when the heist wasn't pulled off. The heist went wrong. And it literally, his brother, right? Jake Gyllenhaal's brother comes on, and like, they talk for 5 minutes. He's like, hey, would you like some coffee? I have a new K-cup maker. Let's make this coffee. And they go to make the coffee. It's just like, it just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
So is this a streaming, wait till streaming, or
I mean,
worth at least going back in the theater for it?
It's a, if you want to see a Michael Bay movie that is over the top action and stupid, and you want to basically blow a couple IQ points, stick around. Now, I'm going to go to the chat here. We actually have a special guest that's joining us. I thought he was going to be here at 10:30 a.m. There might have been a miscommunication. I thought he was supposed to come on at 10:30 a.m. Adam from the movie Chariot is here. But we're gonna go in a minute. But we got to go to our chat here. So Chet's mom, it is so bad it's good. Yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it might be so bad that it's good. The Island was kind of entertaining just because I like the whole science fiction concept behind the Island. It had sort of a Logan's Run vibe to me. So there you go. And yeah, B-roll says the Island was the last Michael Bay movie I actually sat through. So yeah, Akanika, blow a couple IQ points. Yeah, you know, if you're, it's fine. It's fine. You know, look, it's, your mileage may vary, right? Like, I'm not going to say, this is why I feel like it's sort of like, you know what my taste is. I tend to actually personally prefer independent film. I mean, I like movies like RRR, you know, an Indian 3-hour action movie, and Chet's Mom 4, love Logan's Run. Probably the first time I saw breasts at the movies. Jenny Agutter and Michael York had such amazing chemistry, and they fall in love. Chet's Mom 4, go back and watch Logan's Run. It's dated, but it's such a great fun film.
Go back to the breath comment. What?
Bert Turgeson says The Rock. What's so funny is there's a dumb thing where the screenwriter, there's lines in the movie where they actually reference other Michael Bay movies, right? So there you go. I don't know what to say. Here we go. One of my local news outlets first defended Rings of Power, now completely trashed Sonic 2. I don't know if it's just a bad reviewer of bought opinions. Who knows? I mean, I feel like you have to watch people for a while, and my opinion's not always going to line up with yours. You know, my opinion will not always line up with yours, and that's okay. So that's fine. I got shit for not disliking Morbius enough. I never once said Morbius was great. I just said it's not as bad as what other people were saying. Mainstream critics gave it like a 15%. I think audiences gave it like a 65%. And I was it's more on the 60% scale. We're going to continue talking to you in the chat. The runtime definitely turned me off. At least I can fast forward on streaming. We're going to get back to talking to you in the chat. We need to talk to our special guest today, Adam, and I'm gonna mispronounce his name. And he's hopefully going to. He's Adam Sigal is here. Adam, welcome to the Film Threat podcast here We are so happy that you're with us today. Adam, let me put you center screen here. How's it going, Adam?
It's great, and you pronounced my name flawlessly. I couldn't have done it better myself.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for joining us. We've got a lot of people watching here today. They're going to have questions for you. Your movie Chariot opens today. Am I correct?
No, it opens in a week.
It opens in a week. Okay, great.
Yeah, close.
Opens in a week. It stars John Malkovich is in it, and you got an amazing cast. And it's you made a weird effed up movie, dude. I'm getting the vibes I'm getting, and tell me if I'm off. It felt a little Jacob's Ladder to me.
You're not off at all, man. I mean, you should see the stuff I sent to my DP, when we were prepping for this. It was like Jacob's Ladder, Jacob's Ladder, Jacob's Ladder.
You're kidding. Okay,
no,
good.
I love that movie, man.
Okay, good. Good. I'm glad I'm not off, because I'm like, wait a sec. I don't know what's real and what's not real, and you're messing with my head. So Chariot comes out a week from today. Want to let everyone know it's on. Is it coming to theaters, right?
Yeah, theaters
and video on demand same day or later?
I don't know, actually. That's a good question. I should probably do my research on that. It's definitely coming out on streaming, but it's doing theatrical first. So I'm guessing shortly thereafter.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
I think the note I have here, it's both. It's theaters and on demand.
There you go. You know better than me.
However you see it, but this is, it's important. Film Thread exists to support smaller independent films. How did you get this project going? You both wrote it and directed.
Yeah.
That is just, it's such a struggle. I've been there, made films myself. How did you get to where you are today? And I don't mean sitting talking to us, but put the project together, the money, and we're also going to have questions for you from our chat. We're going to take some chat questions as people look up your film. Definitely check out the trailer. You'll be freaked out. But tell us what got you here and how you put the project together.
And a lot of hustling. Honestly, I've gone a really weird route with my career. I want to make weird movies. I'm not really interested in making my theory with independent film is if I want to see Avengers, I'll go see Avengers and see it as a big budget film. If I'm going to see indie films, I want to see weird movies or movies that studios are not doing. Because if I want to see those movies, I'd rather go see a studio version with bigger stars and more money. So it's that was kind of always my thought process with indies. And so it's hard though, because they're not thrillers, and a lot of the on the distribution side, they're like, what in God's name is this? So it just kind of takes a lot of passion and a lot of pitching and a lot of being told that I'm crazy. And then in this case, finding the right investor who believed in it, which was my executive producer on this, Melissa. And then just, once it gets to the talent, the talent always like my scripts. If you can get through the agent barrier, which is it's another process entirely, then generally they respond well to it. And so with Chariot, the first piece of talent who attached was actually Rosa. And Rosa is just like me. She's just so avant-garde, so indie-minded, just wants to do weird stuff. And so it was great. So we vibed right away. And then meanwhile, I had a friend who, essentially she's kind of this older actress, and she said, who are you thinking for Dr. Karn? And I said, I'm thinking John Malkovich. And she's like, oh, he's my friend, I'll give him the script. I was like, oh, okay, sure. And then she reaches out to me a month later. She's like, hey, John read the script and he loved it. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. And she's like, no, he wants to Zoom with you. I was expecting somebody with a pop-up mask of Malkovich or something, but no, it's John. And he says, dude, this script's fantastic. I get so many bad scripts, and this is the first one I've seen where I'm not going to change my character's dialogue. He's like, I'm doing this, just book my travel. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, we should figure things out with your agent. He's like, yeah, go ahead, but book my travel, I'll be there, I'm doing this movie. I'm like, okay. And then sure enough, he did the movie. And so that was kind of the I guess the way that it got there on Chariot. And then in the past, just similar, just hustling and pitching and trying to make people see that different can be cool, and that there was a period in the 90s where even studios were doing cool movies, and it's a little not happening now. There's a lot of formulaic stuff out there, but cool stuff does still get made. It just takes, as you said, being a filmmaker yourself, it just takes longer and is harder.
Well, it's never giving up, right? I mean,
that's exactly right. A almost insane amount of determination and delusion in one's own abilities.
Yeah, 100%. It's now, how did you get Malkovich to he kind of got into this character? Like, I feel like the scene with, like, all the scenes with him feel off in the sense of like he's unhinged. Like, Malkovich is always good, but I'm like, oh my god, like he really is. Like, did you give him a lot of leeway to go like,
no,
want to kind of go wild over the top with this?
Yeah. You know, listen, when I direct, kind of my directing philosophy is that I'm there steering the ship, but it's a bunch of artists who come together and they're all better at their art than I am, significantly. Like, Malkovich has forgotten more about acting and how to embody a character than I'll ever know. So I will kind of give them all the character notes that I can and what I intended for this character and what I intended for their journey as the writer. Then I just rely on them to achieve that and to make their own decisions. And somebody like John is very smart and very opinionated about a character that he's playing. And, you know, he's just, so he would email me and text me at all hours of the night sometimes and say, Adam, I think that this character should have a wig. And I was like, okay. And he's like, he's a phony, so I think he should have a fake wig, a bad wig, a bad looking wig. Can you get me a bad wig? I was like, John, I'm sure we can get you a bad wig. He's like, okay, excellent. You know, and so it was just that kind of thing. Like, he would give character ideas, and it was, you know, the first time he had one that I disagreed with was like a very harrowing moment for me. I was like, you know, I don't know about that idea. He's like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, no problem. Like, John was just like, you know, an absolute prince to work with, just so collaborative and so cool. But to answer your question directly, like, I give that leeway to all the artists that are creating a film with me. I just kind of give the overall vision, and then I count on them to, you know, my production designers, like, look, you want a somber scene here, and this is it, and this is the emotion you're trying to invoke in your audience. Like, why don't I paint the wall this color instead of that color? I'm like, absolutely. You know, you know this. So.
Well, we're going to go to some questions in the chat. We have a lot of questions and comments for you in the chat, but I want to say also the way that I felt the movie was similar to Jacob's Ladder, and this is a good thing, is that the setting for the movie is practically a character in the movie. Meaning the this apartment complex, which reminds me of some kind of frightening old school like apartment complexes up Wilshire Boulevard in LA. like it reminds me of
that's what I wanted.
Okay, it totally is a character in the movies. So can you speak to that? Because you have all this like great interplay. I mean, there's some really effed up conversations with, I don't want to spoil it too much. Look up to everyone in the chat and watching this later, you're watching the live stream replay, check out the trailer for Chariot. It is out April 15th in theaters, on demand, however you see it. But like, I you know, how did you find this place, and what were kind of the things you did to kind of make that there's like this? I mean, it just reminded me of some like sad early times when I first moved to Los Angeles. And
that's what I wanted. It's exactly what I wanted.
It worked. No,
okay, you nailed it, man. I would drive around and see these buildings that were like these old kind of dying retro vintage place. Like, there was one on Franklin forever, like right next to the Franklin Strip, that was like this, it was like a jungle when you went inside there, and it was so cool. Now, with that said, this building is in Little Rock, Arkansas, and we shot this movie in Arkansas. And basically, when we were putting this film together, you know, as you know, with indie filmmaking, a lot of it is based on a tax credit. And so we did this analysis of all these various states where we could shoot, where it had a good tax credit, and, you know, we could shoot this budget range without, you know, having big union problems. And Arkansas was kind of the top of the heap. And so they pitched me Arkansas, and I was like, are you guys effing kidding me? Like, I don't want to shoot this in Arkansas. And then they were like, no, let me show you some buildings and show you. And they sent me this building in Lafayette, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is perfect. And so I flew down there like 3 times to scout this place. And so it's actually in Chariot, it's actually 2 buildings. It's actually the Lafayette for like the lobby and all the beautiful, you know, architecture. And then in Rosa and Thomas's apartments, there was a condemned building about a block away where we just went in. It had no power, but my amazing production designer, Scott Daniel, set decked these 2 empty rooms and made them look really awesome. And so, yeah, that was how we achieved that in Little Rock, Arkansas. We shot the whole thing in Arkansas. All the locations are there. and it was an amazing experience. It was like the most film friendly place I've ever shot.
Well, shout out to Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
And then real quick, you're getting a lot of love in the chat here. So let me just sort of throw these comments up. I don't know if you can see the comments. You can watch the replay.
Oh, wait, I can press chat. What will that do?
No. You'll get to see the chat. Says, yeah, now I got to check the trailer to this movie. And then that's a Jinx says that. Chet's Mom 4 says, movies that I will always give a chance. Anything with Malkovich, Defoe, or Walken. Jinx also says, great John M. impression. Ferguson says, this looks dope. And then Patrick Lemire says, oh, wow, you cast Vernon Davis and John Malkovich.
From my fantasy football team to highbrow cinema, man. That's how I roll. So, yes.
That's great. And Solomon Thornton says, great creators have crazy minds. So there you go. Geek Truth 64 says, no matter who John Malkovich plays, he always has this off-kilter feel that adds something intangible to whatever movie he is in. And then we have a question here from Solomon Thornton says, what films inspired you to be a director? Love the trailer, by the way.
Thank you. And honestly, the most inspirational ones for me were early Coen brothers, and another film that I'm sure you see the influence is Barton Fink, and that one, but more so, honestly, if I had to zero in on one film that really truly inspired me to be a filmmaker, was Raising Arizona. Like, that was the first time I watched a movie, and I was just so in awe of the script, and just so in awe of like how it was this weird, ridiculous premise, but the characters spoke like almost like they were in a Shakespearean play. Like they were so verbose, and just, it was, and that's the kind of writer I've always been, and very old school and very literary. And I was like, oh, okay, like I could actually write just cool little indies where the characters sound intelligent and like actually sound the way they do in the books that I love to read. And so honestly, Raising Arizona was the biggest film, and there's been countless others, and I'm a big science fiction guy, but that was the first time I literally sat down at my computer when I saw that movie when I was probably 14 or 15 and just said, oh yeah, like I'm gonna do this, I want to try this.
Well, a lot of people talking about in the chat. Ferd Turgeson knew he was going to say Raising Arizona.
Nice.
I love Raising Arizona. OMG. And just watch the trailer. Looks amazing, says the film philosopher. Hey, the film philosopher was good hanging out last weekend at WonderCon. That was a blast. JNNX says, Arkansas has killer tax credits for movies.
Yes, they do.
For filmmakers watching this, Arkansas, I know everybody says Atlanta now and Georgia, but Arkansas. There you go.
Absolutely.
Patrick Lemire says, Arkansas is cheap. I have family there. Nice folks. Was it hard to find a good crew? Like, do they have local,
No, it was probably half local and then half we brought in from places like Atlanta, Alabama, Louisiana, Nashville. Like, it's a couple hours drive and they'll come in. But I would say half our crew was local in Arkansas, and they're a great crew.
This is an odd question, but I'm just going to ask you from the chat. The film philosopher says, did you ask Rosa to cosplay Elita on set?
Definitely not.
Okay.
She would have told me to go screw myself. No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't. We talked about Elita, and Rosa's amazing and was so great on set. But no, I did not ask her to cosplay. I'll ask her to do that next time I talk to her. I'll just tell her to send me a picture of herself with the giant eyes. So.
Great. The chat is loving you. They're leaving to go check out the trailer, or hopefully bookmarking it. But Adam, congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
Been a pleasure chatting with you today. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Absolutely.
I know you had trouble logging on, but or you maybe didn't have trouble, but I'm sorry.
No.
We're in the middle of a conversation. So,
no, I think they gave me the wrong time, or there was miscommunication because they said 10. They said 1. I'm on the East Coast right now. They said 1. I was on time. I was ready to rock. So
I don't know, but no, we're all good. And thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.
Let me know if this is if you post these anywhere or anything. Like, I would love to share it if possible. I don't know if you do that, but I would love to.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I'll clip it. I'll definitely clip it.
Yeah, please do. I have a big following on Instagram, so that my followers always like to see this kind of stuff. So that'd be amazing.
Yeah, we clip the interview kind of because we'll do like a 2 or 3 hour live stream. We clip the interview, we make it a separate thing, so you can just watch your interview.
Cool.
So we'll make sure to send it to your team. But The film philosopher saying, I love Rosa. Please introduce us.
No problem.
There you go.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Adam, for joining us on the Film Threat Livecast. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Congratulations
thank you.
on your next project. Awesome.
Appreciate
Check out Chariot. Chariot is available. Well, first of all, it's in theaters a week from today, April 15th, also on streaming on demand. So make sure you check that out. And this is part of what we're doing here. Part of one of my goals with doing a live stream is I don't want to do what other live streams are doing. I addictively watch a lot of different live streams. I watch Gary Nerdrotic with the Nerdrotic Nooner. In fact, I'm supposed to be on the Nooner next week, next Wednesday afternoon. It's gonna be a long day for me next Wednesday. So I'll be on Nerdrotic Nooner. So I watch that live stream. I'll watch As the Real BBC Heel versus Babyface, which also has Nerdrotic. I know some Mahler live streams. The Critical Drinker. If you watch the Critical Drinker, these are people that I've been watching for a long time. You know, the Geeks and Gamers crew, Ryan Cannell over at RK Outpost. They do a thing called Tuesday Night's Main Event. So I watch a whole bunch of different live streams. And then I watch a lot of live streams that have nothing to do with geek culture, right? So I love all those different live streams. You know, I've learned so much. I want to do something different. So what I want to do is I want to bring you filmmakers directly. My goal is to bring you, like, you can actually talk to filmmakers who have movies that are out and available, right? Why? You can learn. You can have direct access. Ask Adam a question. What was it like to shoot with so-and-so? What was the biggest challenge? One of the things I always like to ask, and I want to take a deeper dive into this more, is how the financing is put together. Because the one thing I know when it comes to, and we're going to talk about the Northmen coming up. Someone was asking in the chat about, have they talked about the Northmen yet? We have not, but we will. And I got to wrap up kind of my thoughts on Ambulance. And I've actually, Paul's NYC, Critical Drinker is hysterical. I've been on some Critical Drinker live streams a couple times. He's had me on. So I'm always really like nervous, like to be on some of these live streams, like Midnight's Edge. I've done that, you know, on the regular and whatnot. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't want to ruin the discussion, except here's what happens. Whenever I watch a live stream, I always end up yelling at the TV because I'm like, no, I know that filmmaker. That's not true. Or you're speculating. That's bullshit. I know the truth behind that. So it bugs me sometimes that, like, I feel like I have a piece of knowledge where I can add to the conversation, but I don't want to be on a live stream if I'm not going to add to the conversation. And my expertise is indie film. I know indie film. I have a lot of stories about indie film. I talked to Nick Rekieta, actually. He was having a conversation, and he sort of was taking a deep dive into indie film. And I'm like, I got to talk to you. I have knowledge that actually is going to respond to everything you're talking about. What you're talking about is just not informed, right? You need more knowledge. And I have more knowledge in this particular sliver, right? Nick Rekieta, I can't compete with him on law stuff, although I actually know a little bit more about legal stuff as it applies to entertainment than most. But I hope to do Nick Rekieta stream one of these days. We chat over Twitter, and at some point I'll do that. I strongly recommend Rekieta Law is his channel. So there we go. So someone say I would be cautious with Drinker, Nerdrotic, that crew, because you get labeled too anti-SJW. Videos may not age well, in my humble opinion. I hear you, but I will say this. You know, I'm an adult. I'm responsible for my opinions. We cover, one thing I will say about Film Thread, we are politically agnostic. So we're not necessarily, in terms of the movies that we cover, we're not specifically on one, weighted one way of the political spectrum or the other, which is why you'll get reviews of films like, The Boys in Red Hats, right? And you'll get, feminist.
We got the Antifa documentary.
There's a lot of different, we cover things across the spectrum. And I kind of feel like I have something to add to the conversation whenever I've done those other shows, and I am responsible for my opinion. And if someone wants to debate me about that, fine. But if you look at my history of 37 years, I started Film Thread. We cover movies all across the spectrum. What is new is media outlets landing on one side of the political spectrum or the other. That's new, and that's new to me. I've always felt that you need to be unbiased, right? Or you know, and my politics have always been center, you know, which I don't know. I guess that makes me different when it comes to the political spectrum these days. I'm more center, and I've been like center left sometimes, but there's some things I've seen lately that where I have concerns, and so yeah. And Mike Diver says, yeah, Chris, be careful of people with opinions. Well, the thing is this, I don't care. This is what I want to show by appearing on those shows and being on Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker and shows like that, and let that, like, we can have different opinions and have conversations together. And why can't we do that? Why is that not a thing that we should not be able to do? I don't even care if you disagree with me. If you hate Halo, fine. I respect your opinion. You know, that's fine. Give me your reasons for it. We can debate. Maybe you'll change my opinion. Maybe I'll change your opinion, right? One thing about Halo, Pink Spartan, that's canon.
Yep.
Are we going to see pink Spartans in the Halo show? And damn it, if there are no fucking pink Spartans in the Halo show, it's bullshit. Because pink Spartans are canon, damn it.
Sorry. No, I get. Let me just say, you know, I don't buy this idea that a film is good or bad based on its politics, whether it supports one side or the other.
Right.
You know, a movie is good or bad if it tells an engaging story, makes you think, and entertains you. You know, to me, I could care less what the politics behind it is.
Well, what I don't like is a specific agenda that's being pushed. That I actually push back against. And I don't care if it's from the left or the right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on my Twitter, I've
seen both, yeah.
I think it was like a week or two ago, I talked about documentaries, that almost all the documentaries we get these days, Alan, are weighted one way or the other politically, like right up front. It's like, here's our premise, this thing is bad or this thing is good, and we're promoting it. And that's it.
Yeah.
So,
I always appreciate films. If a film is going to take a side, I appreciate it when they can go to the other side, understand their opinion, present it fairly, and then criticize it.
Yeah, Chet's Mom 4 says more opinions and more conversation is always better. Everyone agreeing is boring. That's true. I've always felt that. I actually prefer to read things that I disagree with or engage with things I disagree with, because I want to understand that person's point of view and how they came to that conclusion. And mostly what I find out is the reason people come to conclusions, at least in some senses, one of the main reasons is just being ill-informed and not engaging with other points of view. Once I've absorbed sort of all points of view on an issue, I can kind of take a sober-minded life experience view of an issue and then come to my own conclusion. And then you can also disagree with that conclusion. So I feel like I'm an adult. I feel that I feel confident in my opinions and my methodology. I'm also not too proud to change my opinion. So yeah, and Solomon Thornton says Nerdrotic's take on Disney Plus shows is accurate, in my opinion, and I agree. I mean, I've been watching Gary since 2018, and he introduced me to a lot of interesting concepts. One of those was political bigotry. I'd never heard that term until Gary Beekler from Nerdrotic brought that term up. I thought, oh, that's interesting. Political bigotry. I'd never heard that, because I grew up in a household where you sat down, we talked about politics, you know, and my family and both myself, you know, I voted on this side and I voted on that side. I kind of look at it. I look at the man, I look at the values, the man and or woman, and the values or the candidate that's running. I don't care. And these are the issues that are important to me. And I have voted on all sides of the spectrum. And I think that's more of a sober-minded view. The problem is we're so polarized and we don't talk to each other. That's the problem. And so that's why I will talk to and engage with people. Like maybe we agree 70%, 60%, but why would I want to, I mean, like, just go out in the world. You're never going to find people that agree with you 100%. That's a clone of you, and that's stupid. So, and Brett Wilson, thank you for that. I like Film Threat because they aren't afraid of hurting people's feelings. Not that they're trying to, but they aren't going to hold back their honesty for the sake of pleasing. Thank you, Brett Wilson. We've kind of always been that way, but like it's always been, I feel like it's my duty to, and Alan knows this too, because we've worked together now for 5 years, right?
Yeah.
5 years?
2017.
Yeah, around more than
We're
5
approaching 5 years. In two months, it'll be.
We met
July
at
will be 5 years.
Well, I knew you before from Lauren
Yeah.
Kling's podcast, so we've met like way before that, a couple years before that. But we started working together in 2017, and Alan knows, like philosophically, we're like want to. It's an indie movie, right? And indie movie is everything from Lloyd Kaufman, trauma movies. Which Lloyd Kaufman was on the podcast last week. You should go back and watch that live stream, or at least watch the Lloyd Kaufman interview we did, which was great. He gave us a tour of the trauma offices in New York, which was awesome, and even showed us the bathroom, which is cool. So check out the Lloyd Kaufman interview if you have not seen it on that live stream, or we clipped it, I think. But it's my duty. If it's an indie movie, I don't care. If it's weighted right, fine. If it's weighted left, fine. We don't care. What we will do is this, and just for those filmmakers out there that are looking at, I kind of want to get some feedback on my movie, and you can send your movie to Film Threat. If you go to filmthreat.com, filmthreat.com/submit, or it's at the very top of the page, click on submit. You can send us your movie to review, right? You're going to get an honest review. Okay. It's going to be honest, but we'll review anything, but we do try to assign the review to someone who is predisposed to like it based at least on the genre, have some knowledge. For example, if it's horror or science fiction, that's going to go to a writer who mostly likes that, right? If it's a documentary, it's going to go to a writer that mostly likes documentary. Alan, do you want to speak to that at all? Like about like your process, little bit of insight on that?
I mean, that's exactly it. You got me on the spot here, but that's generally our philosophy. It's, you made a film, it should go to someone who's predisposed to like that genre. Because we've had that case where someone says, well, I'm not normally into these kind of movies. And then they go on and trash the movie. And it's like, wow, that was literally the worst thing we could have done for that movie. And also they're independent films, they're not going to get the breaks that the other outlets get. Or the major outlets get. And so, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just for me, it's just like trauma movies. You can't judge a trauma movie on the same scale that you would judge a new Star Wars movie, right? They're just not. Poultrygeist, Citizen Toxie, the trauma films are exactly that, trauma films. That's fine. But you want to give it to a reviewer who has a depth of knowledge of trauma movies and Full Moon Entertainment, and knows who Charlie Band is, and knows who Roger Corman is. Like, those are different types of movies. Those are exploitation movies. Those are cheesy, a lot of them very cheesy, but they kind of know what they are, like the Puppet Master series, which I love those films for what they are, right?
And when it comes to movies we don't like, it's not like we're giving automatic passing grades here.
Right.
But for films we don't like, I definitely like our writers to take a kind of constructive approach to criticism. Right. Rather than just say, oh, this is lame, this is bad. And
100%. More comments here. Max, one up, great art can be made by people of any political persuasion.
It should be.
Yeah, and also, it shouldn't matter. It's one of those things where it's like the message should be woven into the subtext, and then the viewer, and this is where a lot of these movies with agenda go wrong, the viewer should have the ability to come to their own conclusion and not have Captain America at the end tell you what to think. I just think, if there's one thing that we could do in schools, it's to teach children how to think for themselves. As a father, and that was my duty, was one, to give my children the skills to survive without me here, which means I got to be tough sometimes. I got to say no a lot. I got to lead them towards better decision making, and then give them the ability to make better decisions when I'm not around. So if I'm not there to guide them, they can do that. And that's my job as a parent. Sometimes that means I got to be an asshole dad. I got to be, look, I can tell you many times where I've just had to be like, nope, I'm the dad. That's where it's, nope, there's no discussion. There's no debate. That's not happening. And there you go. And I look around me, and this happened when I first moved to California in the early 90s. And I was like, wow, this is the worst parenting that I'm seeing just in public. We go to shopping, we go out to spaces, and I see California kids with their California parents, and I'm a Michigan guy, and I'm looking at these parents and I'm like, you're fucking morons. And I think
parents are afraid to say no to their kids, and it frustrates the hell out of me.
It is. It's just like, we're not having dessert at every dinner. Dessert is a treat. Dessert is a special occasion. You know what we're having? We're having watermelon. That's dessert. You're having some watermelon. And it was one of the things, this is going to sound really mean to say. I'm just going to say it because I don't give a fuck. So I'm at the Sonic 2 screening. There are a lot of kids there. There are a lot of kids at the Sonic 2 screening. And all I could say is I looked around. I'm looking around at the crowd and I'm seeing a lot of these kids and I'm like, wow, do they even do gym class anymore? I'm not going to make any more comments. Not making any more comments than that. But you know what? I begrudgingly went to gym and it was fine. I hated it. I fucking hated it because, I was a late bloomer. So I was kind of small as a kid. Didn't grow up until maybe late high school, finally like grow into kind of being an adult. It's such an awkward, the weirdest stage of life, the weird stage of like puberty and all that. But I'm looking around at these kids and I'm just like, wow, there is a lot of in-between snacking and maybe not as much gym class as might be necessary. That is a horribly mean thing to say. And there you go. Internet Rec Room just says, yikes, lol.
I know.
So, the film philosopher, Chris, when I saw Sonic last night, I got wedged between those same people. Yeah, look, it's mean to say, but I really think part of let's get some good habits, right? Let's get some good habits so we're not breaking our medical system with people with problems that are basically self-induced wounds. I think a lot of wounds today, whether they're mental and or physical, it's they're self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
And, Max One Up says, "Lol, California kids." But dude, it's like, I can't tell you, this is what I noticed. And can I just say this? I'm going to give you all the parenting advice you need in the next 2 minutes. If you have not, we're going to, Jack D. Rip says, let's get to the Northmen.
So we need to talk about nutrition for a second.
We're going to get there. This is my reminder. This is my reminder to get to the Northmen. We're just going to put the Northmen in the background there. We're going to get to the Northmen, Jack D. Ripper. This one last thing here. One last thing. And I'm going to comment because I want to comment on what Patrick Lemire is saying. We're going to get to the Northmen, I promise. But like, to me, the thing that I just noticed when I would see kids, California kids with their California parents, I would notice that the parents would turn to the kid. I'm talking about 6-year-old and say, I don't know. What do you want to do? So this is a kid, like pulling the mom or the dad and like pulling them and just like not wanting to do whatever it was the family was going to do and like not go shopping or not do this. And they would turn and say, I don't know. What do you want to do? Or see a kid at dinner. I don't know. What do you want to eat? Never, ever ask your kids. They're freaking 6 years old. They don't know what they want. They're idiots. Kids are stupid and they lie. They're so stupid, they believe things like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, among other dumb things like the Tooth Fairy. You tell them these things that are fake and they believe it, and it's fine. It's sort of magical. There's that magical era. Then they sort of grow out of that innocence after they move from single-digit age into the double-digit ages, right? Like, and that era is fun and magical and cool and great and fun as a parent. You kind of build this world, and then you have to smash it when they start to go through puberty and things get weird. But I'll say this: last thing I'm doing is asking a kid what they want. I'm telling you what you're eating. You can have some choices within reason. Here's your window of choices, right? And that's it. Here's your window. No, we have to go to the hardware store. I don't care. You're with me. Mom's off doing this. I'm doing that. We're doing this. I don't care what you want. And the other thing you need to do is say no. And the last thing you need to do as a parent is simply do what you say you're going to do. So if you give boundaries and you say, get to bed. If you keep getting up out of bed, the punishment is X. Follow through on the punishment. And what I observed about California parents is they're weak. They're weak when it comes to children. They can be manipulated by their children. And I think that the tougher you are, when I say discipline, it doesn't mean hitting your child. I don't mean that. What I'm talking about is discipline is being firm and you're the one in charge, right? And I see too much of kowtowing to children. And also when it comes to leadership at movie studios and in the entertainment industry kowtowing to morons. So I see a lot of weak leadership at the top that where you end up with the debacle that is Disney, right? Like there was a comment here. Gabriel, Disney is just a rotten corpse at this point for me, I think. Yeah, it is. So, and Chicago Box, at what point do these people realize they've forked up? True. So those are comments from earlier. A lot of people, look, I'm sorry I went off on that. And Chet's mom for the Northman threw his kids in a snowbank instead of a bath, damn it. The Northman would be a good dad. Well, let's get to the Northman here. Look, and film philosopher, would you say most actors are children? 100%. That's why you get all these dumb views or dumb takes when you see like actors on social media and they talk about their like political views or they talk about their philosophies. Like they're kids, they're children. Some directors will even refer to actors as meat puppets. I think that's a little mean. I think that might be a little mean, but like they're just sort of empty vessels. In fact, I made a comment about that. If you go to my personal Twitter at that Chris Gore. So, and Holy Hand Grenade says, yes, get to the Northmen. I'm here. Let's get to the Northmen. Cool. This is not going to be a full review, and I'll tell you why. I cannot fully do a review of this film because I cannot get into spoiler territory. We will not be getting into spoiler territory for the Northmen. But if you have not seen the trailer for this incredible film by Robert Eggers, do yourself a favor right now. I have watched that trailer 50 times. It has just blown me away in terms of like taking me back to a time with Conan, directed by John Milius, that amazing Basil Polidorus score. Incredible. But Robert Eggers, let's talk about the director first before we get into it. Previous films, The Lighthouse, which was weird, right? It's about isolation and madness and drunken dreams and the sort of bizarreness that solitary being. You're stuck in a lighthouse with one other dude, and there are a lot of fart jokes in it. I will say there is one fart in The Northman, one audible fart, and it's perfectly part of the story. 100%. Not played for laughs, perfectly part of the story. His other film, which I liked better, the previous one to that, which had what's her name? Anya. Anya
Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy was in this movie called The Witch. That's kind of like her breakout film. Strongly recommend that you see The Witch. It's actually spelled the VV itch, like the Vavitch. A friend of mine, Bobby Schwartz, calls it the Vavitch. It's not the Vavitch, it's The Witch. The Northman is very similar to The Witch in this sense. And I'm not going to get into spoilers. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk spoiler stuff after it opens. But and this is a good thing, okay? This is a very good thing. Everything you see in that trailer for The Northman happens in the first third of the movie. Most of what you've seen in the trailer. So all those events, that's the first third of the movie. So what's really cool is I'm kind of in the middle of the movie going, I have no idea where this movie's going now. The same thing happened to me when I saw The Dark Knight. If you remember Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, there was many trailers that came out for that movie. What was fascinating was, and I know Nolan is like very much he's obsessed with like the marketing, right? Like, when you get to a certain point in The Dark Knight, you're like, I have no idea where this film is going to go because none of this was in the trailer. Because trailers tend to ruin things these days. Trailers will, and Alan, hopefully you're paying attention to the chat and starring some of the best comments.
Yeah.
Because I'll get to those starred comments and questions as we get through this. But I love that. So many trailers these days ruin the movie. They'll take you up through the third act, and then we kind of already know where it's going to go. And The Northman does a great job of like, well, you've seen the first third. It's in the trailer. You have no idea where it's going now. Now, it does sort of follow your something of a hero's journey, right? Like, the closest thing you might be able to compare it to is something like Conan. The first Conan. Second Conan movie was not great. First Conan movie is, that's a film for adults. It's R-rated. It's bloody and gory. But what happens is there's a turn. So you know what happens, right? It's, his father is killed, mother is taken captive by the brother. The young boy escapes, the Northman escapes, and ends up becoming a raiding barbarian. And he's obsessed. He wants his revenge. He wants to kill Fjornar. That's in his head. And that is that he is single-minded in this obsession, and things don't go as planned. So in the second half of the movie, and I do not want to get into spoilers, it becomes a horror film. It is absolutely a horror film because this plan, the Northman is so obsessed with executing this plan that he's on this mission, and he has to work in stealth. So it doesn't necessarily go the way that you think. And by working in stealth to execute this plan, this goes down a very dark road. So there's two ways that the movie's dark. One, the movie is nearly overcast the entire film. Not a lot of sun in this movie, right? So it's like physically dark. Okay, cinematography, great, using that darkness. And there's a healthy amount of nude sword play. Let me just say that. Nude, like fully naked with swords and shields, sword play is happening. But the second half of the movie becomes like this like creepy thriller horror film that is bloody gory. And I would describe the type of horror, it's like Game of Thrones. Someone can't just like get killed in Game of Thrones, right? They get killed, whatever. No, they get killed in the most gory, gruesome, ironic way that is, the psychological aspect, the psychological horror is even worse than the wounds being inflicted or the limbs being chopped off. Does that make any sense? So I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but I'll just say that like, there's not any sort of death that you could describe as like a normal, like, oh, you stab someone and they're dead. Well, there's some of those in there, but most of the violence is like, it's bloody gory. It's horrific. Alexander Skarsgård, like that. I mean, he's just, his physique alone is just so imposing. And there's some also healthy doses of humor. And you'll see that in Robert Eggers' film, probably more prominently in The Lighthouse, in the Witch that's like that, or The Witch. But there's like, the humor is organic. It's not like quippy one-liners, like a terrible, like that's become so, just part of a Marvel movie. There's always these quippy lines, which what I don't like about that is it lowers the level of like seriousness of what's happening. I really think if the world were ending, we wouldn't be making quippy jokes. We'd be focused on, the task at hand. So, but there's some really good uses of humor in it. I'm so reluctant to talk further about the film because I want you to be surprised. I was fortunate enough to be invited to an early screening. That also doesn't mean I'm cool or whatnot. And first of all, when it comes to the press and me doing press, Film Thread is kind of labeled as general press, meaning we are not important. And I don't care. Like, my preference is always to see a movie in a theater with paying customers, because I feel like the reaction is more authentic. So I'm going to stop right there talking about the film. I'll answer some questions. Star Wars Terrier says, no spoilers. And Turo says, Chris noticed my quippy comments. Look, quippy comments in the chat is great. Go ahead.
I will tell you, you had the chat at Naked Sword Fight.
Yeah, well, there is a sword fight with two people that are naked.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
naked.
I appreciate you clarifying that you meant swords.
No, well, there's swords and swords. I mean, they're both types of swords. It's
So
always.
you're saying we get both then? We get both fights.
And Chet's mom, who has known me for a long time, not going to reveal Chet's mom for identity. I'm just not going to. She says it's always cooler to not be cool. Yeah, when I see a movie, I'm like the last guy to show up at the gangbang. That's a terrible description. but that's me. Like, and most of the time I get invited by friends who got invited to a screening. So I'm the plus one, right? Like I'm the plus one getting into a screening, or sometimes they do these things called tastemaker screenings. And what they'll do is the American Cinematheque will say free tickets to this movie. It's whoever registers first. And I got tickets to see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, right? Isn't that
Yes,
The Unbearable?
that's the title.
Unbearable. I'm seeing that next Wednesday. So we're going to do a late night stream, Hollywood on the Rocks, next Wednesday. It'll probably start at 10 p.m. or later next week, because I'll have, you're going to see the movie too, right, Alan?
Yeah, I don't have my I mean, I'm going to a screening. You're
going to a screening. I'm seeing it.
Don't know when it is.
I'm seeing it Wednesday night and directly after, and it's on the West Side. So I'm going to come back. Hopefully we'll start the stream about 10 p.m. Pacific time next Wednesday. And we're going to talk about Nick Cage's new movie and a couple of other things. So yeah. And okay. So Criggy says, so is The Northman a must see or just okay or what? It's one of my favorite movies this year. Okay. So, but I can't talk about the second half of the movie because that's not, I feel it's fair to talk about anything that's in the trailer. There's almost nothing from the second half of the movie in the trailer. I would almost say the last 2/3 of the movie, because it takes this, you think the trailer is almost like it's like a misdirect, like the movie's going this way and then it goes a different way and you're like, oh, movie. And I love when movies do that. And I'm so sick of movies that are, just like go the way you think they're going to go. And you're like, okay, well, you fulfilled what you said you do, and so there we are, yay. But what can you say?
So you're recommending The Northman and
strong
the Hedgehog 2. All right.
Yeah. but see, these are different movies. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 should be judged based on, is it a good video game movie? Different scale than The Northman, which sets this up to be a Norse tale, like like barbarians and Vikings are in it. Like, is it good in that realm? How does it hold up to the original Conan, which I think still holds up? By the way, got it in 4K. So the digital 4K. So there you go. Let me get to the star chats. And I don't know if we have any super chats. Obviously those take priority here, but I'm going to go through starting from the bottom here. We've got Anthonyus one says, do you think reviewers should always give their own opinion and judge the movie based on that? Or could a good reviewer be objective and give a movie a good grade even when they did not like it? No, I think you got to be honest to yourself. Like I will, and that's why like a lot of reviews that I do, I'll give qualifying factors. For example, I'll say, like, if it comes to like a Halo, like I am all about the multiplayer mode. I play through the story mode once. I'm not into Halo lore. I love the soundtrack. I used to listen to all the Halo soundtracks. I think the music is epic. It's incredible. But I never read the novels. So I'm not too deep into the lore of Halo. Love the multiplayer. And that's kind of like my experience of Halo is that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the same about The Secrets of Dumbledore. If I hadn't necessarily been forced to watch the first two movies, I don't know that I would have liked The Secrets of Dumbledore as much. But clearly, if you're a fan of the Fantastic Beasts series, I think it's the best of the three. But if you're not a fan of it, you're not going to like the movie.
Well, I'm not a fan. So there you go. I'm probably not even going to go see it because I don't care. Just like the Celine Dion movie that you reviewed earlier, and you spent way more than a minute, Alan. I will never forgive you. I'll never forgive you for that, Alan. I don't care. So look, for me, it's like, I'll just not see a movie or not see a streaming series because I don't have any interests. So yeah, but I think it's important to a qualifier, and you find like, okay, I might be a better person to come to, or Alan and I, when it comes to an indie film, but when it comes to say Doctor Who or Tolkien, I would probably not go to me necessarily. I am a casual fan of Lord of the Rings. So I try to give some qualifiers up front, and then you can weigh, and I do like to get a lot of different opinions, but if a lot of people are saying they don't like a certain thing, and they know more about that thing than I do, that does actually affect my opinion, because I don't think that anyone is capable of being an expert on absolutely everything. That's why, you know what? It takes a village. It takes a village to review all this crap and to discuss it. And it's a conversation that I really enjoy having with all of you.
Plus, there's so many movies. There's just no way we can see everything.
No, there's just not. But that's why Film Thread, I think, fulfills a niche. And our niche is indie film. And we talk about mainstream stuff as well. And I hope that you appreciate what we're trying to do. We want to bring more people onto our live streams and whatnot. You know, Paulie from Latino Slant has been on our live streams, and we appreciate him. And so, you know, we did our Oscar live stream, which I strongly recommend. If you have the Oscars, like, let's say you still like I use YouTube TV because it's like unlimited recording or whatever. And I share the code with, like, you know, my girlfriend, and my mom has my YouTube TV login and all. Shh. You can have multiple logins. It's fine. But I use that. I have the Oscars. You could rewatch our live stream in time with the Oscars and kind of, actually, why would you do that? You probably like yourself too much.
Well, I did clip out the moment it happened in our live reactions.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Ann Toyle says, any similarities to, say, the 13th Warrior or Bone Tomahawk? I get those vibes in the trailer. Yes, similar. This is better. This is better than those. I quite like 13th Warrior. It's different, but it's those vibes and better. And it's also, here's what my concern is about the Northmen. It's one of those things where I love it, but I am not a normal moviegoer. I am not an average moviegoer. I'm just not a traditional normal moviegoer. I'm not. I know I'm not. How are mainstream audiences going to accept this? How will they accept it? I don't know. I think it might be too weird, but what does sort of give me faith is that because audiences have kind of been trained with something like Game of Thrones, which Game of Thrones was obviously popular, except at the end when it kind of like shit the bed, you know, it might be one of the biggest disappointments. At the time, I was just like, all right, that's fine. But like, it just seems they raced to the ending. That last season should have been 2 to 3 more seasons to draw out the story, you know? Like, I don't know why well, we do know why. They were going to make a Star Wars movie, which ended up not happening, which is stupid. But, you know, I what can I say? Patrick Lemire says, it sounds like a Frazetta painting, nudity and swords. It absolutely, oh my God, now that you say that, that's what I kind of feel like Robert Eggers was going for, was like, you know, all that Frazetta stuff, let's just do that. And there isn't anything. Oh, the question of, is there anything woke in the movie? Zero. Nothing. There is no
all white people, right?
Yeah, it's all white people. Yeah. I mean, and you know what? That should be fine. Let's just make movies I don't like when a movie gets criticized for something stupid like that. Like, you know, diversity doesn't make anything good. And it also doesn't necessarily ruin a movie, but I feel like this needs to be authentic. Yeah, it's all white actors. Who gives a shit? You know, how about a movie with no white actors? That's cool too. You know, I grew up watching a lot of movies like that. I grew up watching a lot of Asian cinema. No white people. No, there'd be like you know what there would be? There would be like just sort of a token white person, like Russ Tamblyn in War of the Gargantuas, you know, or I don't know. Just like they would throw in like one white person for the international market, which I think is kind of funny.
I'm like you. I also grew up watching movies with white people.
Alan! Bronson says, oh, with swords and shields. Thought swordplay meant something else. No, it's definitely, they're fighting. So
I miss the paintings.
Not the swordplay you're talking about. The film philosopher who we hung out and drank at WonderCon, and film philosopher, FYI, message if you're still listening or watching. I have decided to go to Star Wars Celebration, and I'll talk about that. I'll talk about why I decided to go. It's probably because I can't get a refund. That's one of the reasons. I decided that I am going to go, and I'll talk about that later. It's a diver I don't want to get into, but hopefully it's also at in Anaheim, same place, hotel. And I'm making plans.
I've not gotten word on press credentials for me, but if I don't get it, I'm pretty much not going.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you can be my +1, Alan. I have an extra badge.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if my girlfriend's gonna make it. She's sort of conned out. But film philosopher says, so David Fincher does Vikings. Yeah, that's where this. I mean, parts of it, I would say, sort of have influences like that. And Turo says, Alan, don't star my comments. They're usually bad. Thank you. You're a star.
I'm getting called out because it's clear when I'm reading comments and when I see my name appear in a comment.
All right, there you go. Patrick Lemire says, I preferred when the trailer was just Alfred Hitchcock telling you about his new movie, but not actually showing the film at all. Yeah. Patrick, bring back those days. I would love to see. You know what I'd love to see? Make a Star Wars movie or make one of these big genre movies. Don't show a trailer. Nothing. Show nothing. Here's the title of the movie. Here's the date it opens. Nothing. And trailers back in the day were terrible. They would show you some scenes. It was very random. It didn't try to, like, trailers these days try to tell you the story of the movie. I would love to see if you could show a trailer that tells you nothing. That would be great. Star Wars Terrier, everything that happened in the Rogue One trailer didn't happen in the movie. Well, that's a whole other thing where they took Gareth Edwards, they reshot it. What a disaster the Star Wars franchise has been since Disney took over. What a disaster. There's a video that's pinned on our channel where we talk about just like the ruination of Star Wars, which for me was The Force Awakens. When I saw that movie, I was like, oh, fuck this movie. Fuck, didn't build the world, didn't do the world building, couldn't even, it started with those 3 paragraphs. Alan, you when we were going to talk about Star Wars, here it is.
Yeah, here we go. We're almost at the 2-hour point.
So. We're almost at the 2 hour. I can't let it go. And we're going to wrap up the stream quick because I don't want to get tempted into talking spoilers for the Northmen. But when the movie opens that Friday, we will talk spoilers. We will talk spoilers because I know there's going to be early screenings of the movie, what they call, and you should all look for it, just everyone watching, the fan screenings, right? Those fan screenings are great. They're usually on Tuesday or Wednesday. The ticket price is a little bit more of a premium, but they give you something like when I went to see Sonic 2, they gave us all these posters, and the guy who did the poster art was there signing. They gave you a comic. It's like you get a little bit more for your money. We got the Q&A with the director, which was really fun. So that was great.
We didn't get that at the fan screening. We got the poster and the comic book, but
there's a little.
No one showed up.
Well, there was a little custom intro, which I thought was cool. And then RMFX says the best thing TDK did was release the full bank heist open as a teaser before other movies. I saw that. And you know what movie I saw it before? I went to see it in IMAX. I was in San Jose for work, and I went to an IMAX screening specifically to see I Am Legend with Will Smith because they advertised that they'd be showing this little like teaser for The Dark Knight. So they showed the entire bank heist scene, and then you got a little trailer. And you
bailed on the movie.
What can you say? So Solomon Thornton says, so the Northman is like Conan the Barbarian from 82. I would say it's comparable for sure. It's darker for sure, but there's nothing better than that Basil Polidorus music and young Conan holding the hand of his mother as her head is chopped off by James Earl Jones, and that stirring score, and you see the head. It's not gory. It's not played gory. The head just sort of drops, and it's played in slow motion. That moment, you're like, holy. And then when you see him reach his full physical peak by twisting that, going on that device, and you see him age. Like, what a great way to show the passage of time. That he turns into Schwarzenegger. What I love is Schwarzenegger doesn't have a lot of lines in that movie, right? Which is perfect. And Mark Clement says, always a good sign when you don't know where the movie is going. Precisely, the trailer's leading you to think this is a traditional, hero's journey, i.e. Joseph Campbell, right? It's going in that direction. It doesn't. It kind of veers from that and becomes another thing that is a good thing. And I don't want to say anything more. We're not talking second half of the movie.
But also to that point, you don't want your audience ahead of the story.
Right. Like, because then you're waiting like, well, we saw this moment in the trailer. Where's this going?
Or you're waiting for the movie to catch up to where you are. And exactly. That means you're bored.
It ruins the experience. Max One Up. Good news. Most trailers these days show so many scenes from the ending of the movie. Like it just, I feel like filmmakers got to start to put their foot down and say, you know what? And this is where Christopher Nolan comes in, where he would just say, here are the clips that you can pull for the trailer. He is very, when it comes to marketing, marketing, I happen to know that Christopher Nolan is very micromanaging in a good way, because you've seen how trailers can ruin the experience of a movie because it builds up an unfulfilled expectation that the movie's going to be good, because most trailers make movies look good, and then most movies don't live up to the trailer. So there you are. And
I have some interesting stories, but I had a cousin who cut trailers for Disney and Marvel, and did some pretty good stories behind all that.
Well, the film philosopher says, do Chris and Alan live in a lighthouse together? Explains everything.
Yeah.
Well, it explains when I have to mute the mic, and I'll leave it at that. Twist ending. The Northman takes place in modern day in an isolated settlement that has had no contact with the outside world. And Toyo, wrong. But
or is he? Or are you just
go.
not revealing it?
There you go. We have so many chats. I don't think we missed some super chats here. We have not missed it, but Milius is about Crom, says VDR. Crom. See, I really had hoped that the Conan the Barbarian would have been a proper trilogy where it would have been bookended by this old, King Conan and how he took the throne and whatnot. It never really got there. But yeah, and Radio Die, are misleading trailers a good thing?
Yeah.
I think they can be. I think Batman v Superman was a very misleading trailer. And I almost think they showed way too much of the movie, which is what ruined it. They ruined Batman v Superman by showing way too much. They show that shot where Batman is kind of like hanging on the side of a building, and then laser eyes are shot, and you assume it's Superman, and when you see the movie, it's not Superman doing that. So,
that's the thing is, you would think the movie studios would put someone there to cut trailers that would pique the fans' interest and be smart about it, who have seen the movie and said, "Oh, here's some twists we can do to make people want to go see this movie."
Right, and then
the film
capturing
feelings.
I still think you should show the Northman trailer and walk us through it, Chris. We're not going to do that because they'll just get a copyright claim. We did walk you through the trailer for Amityville in Space the other day. When did we do that?
We did that Wednesday. We did Wednesday night.
Wednesday, we're just sort of goofing around and looking at weird videos and just kind of talking at like some of the utter crap that gets sent to Film Thread. And one of the movies is Amityville in Space. It's literally the house from Amityville gets sucked into a black hole, goes into outer space on a spaceship, and the spaceship now has the Amityville house. So it is look up this trailer, Amityville in Space. So on our Wednesday live stream, we're going to show bad trailers and then talk, because everybody wants to, let's show the trailer for so-and-so. It's like, well, I feel like there's other channels that do things better than we're capable of doing. And I'd rather not try to do what they do. I want to do what Film Thread's going to do, which is talk about indie films, interview indie filmmakers, maybe give you a different kind of take on things. So, Piers Bronson says trailers are terrible these days. Watch the whole movie in 1 minute. Yeah, it does feel that way. It does feel that way for sure. So, and oh my God, yes, MK Solid 82. Chris needs to be mentally prepared for the Obi Woke Kenobi. Yeah.
We're doing this one. We're going to be.
That may be one where I may end up watching the whole thing. I did watch The Mandalorian season 1 and 2, but it sort of petered out for me at the end. We've talked about that, and I didn't watch all of Boba Fett. I watched a little bit of it. I watched the Luke stuff. That's what I watched. I watched the stuff with Luke. I'm like, why don't they just make The Adventures of Luke Skywalker? The Adventures of Luke Skywalker.
I think they are in some way.
Why don't they just do that? And Solomon Thornton, Amityville in Space is going to win Best Picture. Yes, of course. Alien and The Shining are the best teasers to ever be made, says Solomon Thornton. That's true. When you look at those trailers, less is more. And someone mentioned earlier the Alfred Hitchcock just comes on and tells you about the movie, and then nothing. I wonder if you could make Psycho today. Let's think about the original Psycho by Alfred Hitchcock, black and white, right? And it goes off, and you think you're following this lead character. Lead character is murdered in the middle of the movie, and that murder is covered up. You have Anthony Perkins now, who went on to have one of the most horrific deaths in the black hole. Do you remember? Via Maximilian the robot. Save me from Maximilian. That's a whole other. We could do a whole other thing on the black hole. We could do a whole
I need
thing
to see that again. It's
Disney's,
been a long time since I've seen it.
Disney's The Black Hole, which, by the way, is in 4K on Disney Plus. Okay. I only say that because I subscribed 3 years ago when they offered some deal to D23 members, and I paid like less than $4 a month, but I prepaid for the whole thing, so I'm kind of stuck with Disney Plus until then. But yeah, I would like to see. But yeah, the Obi-Wan Kenobi thing, I am really, really concerned about. So Chris's thoughts on House of the Devil by Ty West kicked off the retro indie movies. Yeah, I love that MK Solid 82. Yeah, that I love the retro, like X, like this, like it's kind of like and what I love about those movies is there's no cell phones. This is what when they talk to Quentin Tarantino, I remember an interviewer asked Quentin Tarantino, "What's your favorite era to make films, to set a film in?" And he just said anything before cell phones, because cell phones solve too many problems. You kind of like every character has to have one. You always have to come up with some dumb script reason for either why cell phones don't work, they lost a cell phone or whatever, But as I was getting to, Ramina Jones says Norman Bates canceled, Buffalo Bill canceled, because these are serial killers who are cross-dressers. Can't have that these days, right? Think about it, right? Go back and watch that final scene from Psycho. Just the scene where they kind of like zoom in. They're kind of like getting into, the Anthony Perkins, the killer's head, right? His head, and you hear what he's saying. Yeah, you can't make movies like that. There's certain, it's going to be. I think white guys are going to be in the villains in movies for a while now.
For a very long time, yeah.
For a very long time. Alan, you're stuck.
They're easy to cast. They're easy to cast, though.
Yeah, there you go. Gabriel, no cell phone sounds pretty great. Yeah. The Turbo Cola trailer that Films Are posted looked kind of interesting.
Yeah, I really like this movie.
Yeah, like a Clerks feel in a good way. Geek Truth 64. Okay, that movie is coming out in June. I think June 15th, and we have the director is going to be doing an interview on this channel. Yeah. So Geek Truth 64, you'll be able to.
Yeah, I mean, as an indie drama, it is exceptional in terms of the way it's shot, the cast of virtual unknowns. There's a lot to love about this movie.
Yeah, so the Turbo Cola, the trailer is on our channel. We post these we don't want to post trailers that like IGN posts the trailer for Kenobi. Like, I don't want to compete with them because I don't care. Like, we're trying to post trailers for movies you've never heard of that are weird. Right. So we hope you like our trailers, like stuff that's like kind of like kind of give you a WTF kind of vibe. Right. So yeah, we appreciate that. Geek True 64. And we're bringing that director on. And Alan, actually, if you go to filmthreat.com, there you go.
The review is there.
The review is there. And a hotel in Psycho, no Wi-Fi, says the film philosopher. Yeah, there you go. That would be great. We do have to wrap it up because Alan, we have a meeting every week with the Film Threat staff. It's like a bunch of us that get together. We talk about what's going on. We do that every Friday. We call it Jedi Council. There you go. And Ryan Landis says, I miss the old days when bad guys had English or German accents. Well, you are going to love RRR because RRR, all of the bad guys have British accents. It's set in India in the early 1920s, and it's where the British colonizers have come in, and they're basically like the evil empire. And it's an awesome film. And I have a theory about RRR and why RRR is not getting love by the mainstream press. You would think that an Indian movie that was number 3 at the box office, the total U.S. box office the week it opened, a movie that is still in theaters, by the way, you can see it in limited release, RRR. Why is this movie not getting love from the mainstream media? And I will tell you why. It is very pro NRA and guns. It is very pro guns. It's one of the threads in the movie is that one of the characters is trying to get a stock of guns to drive back the British, and it's all. And you see actually kids using guns.
Well, so, the motto of it is everybody gets a gun.
I'm saying it's one of the lines in the movie is
everyone gets a gun.
The whole thing is that if we had guns as a citizenry, the British would not have taken over. They would not have occupied this area of India. That's like a theme in the, and also historically accurate because in some ways it's a fantasy, but the two lead characters are based on real historical figures and a fantasy of if they had met and teamed up against the British. But so I'm looking at because I saw it a second time, and I might in fact go see it a third time. The soundtrack is on Spotify, and there's like 2 songs. They're just like that. It's so great. And VDR says, I've never heard of RRR until Chris mentioned it. VDR, talking to you, VDR. Watch the trailer. There's a trailer. Watch the one that has 67 million plus views, over 60 million views. That trailer has English subtitles and it doesn't walk you through the whole story, but like, oh my God, it's just like, and you got to know it's an epic. It's 3 hours. Everything matters. There's a build up. There is a dance sort of singing thing in the middle, but it's like part of the story because the characters actually go to a dance and it turns into kind of a fun dance off. It's 2 movies recently I've seen with dance-offs, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and RRR. Make of that what you will. In any case, please, VDR, watch that trailer. Find a theater if you can. I've already got it on my Just Watch. This is an app that I recommend quite often. Just Watch is an app that you can you take any movie, you put it in there, it tells you where and how to see it, if it's available on streaming, and it even gives you the price breakdowns. You can find like if you want to rent it on Prime or something, it gives you the pricing. So there you go. But yeah. Wait, Paul's NYC said just checked YT and saw an RR dubbed full movie. I don't think that's the whole. You got to suffer. Don't do that. Paul's NYC. Do not go see it in a theater. Please do not like. Yeah.
Yeah, the dubbing will do you no good.
Yeah, dubbed sucks. Do not do the dubbed version. No. Subtitles all the way. I mean, I could show you a video that talks about the dangers of subtitles. Did anyone miss the beginning of the stream? Did anyone miss the beginning of the stream where we talked about like subtitles at all? Like just in the chat, let me know. Are you kind of all here, or should I show that 1 minute thing again? So
I will say the good thing about Eileen is it's subtitled. And so
all right, we're gonna show it one more time as we sort of wrap up here. I'm gonna show it one more time because I thought it was fun. But like dubbing, I'm not a fan of the dubbing. But so I like to watch things in subtitles. Having said that, I understand if you are reluctant to watch a movie in subtitles. Here's something, just a little, it's under a minute.
So cool up here in the balcony.
Totally. Hey, what's this about this movie being in another language?
Yeah, you have to read what they're saying?
Sounds pretty weird. I'm gonna go get some popcorn.
Okay.
Excuse me, sorry. You are precious.
Subtitles. They're not just un-American. They kill.
Thank you, Jack D. Ripper. Yeah, look, this is our, look, I'm a fan of subtitles. Supercalifragilisticophobic said, I got that right. Great name, by the way. I prefer subtitles myself for authenticity's sake. Things feel more artificial when dubbed, but it was funny growing up with some of the martial arts movies, though, and mouthing dub talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Toho monster movies when they're dubbed. It's funny, I have an old Godzilla box set from years ago that is in standard def. But what's amazing about it is it has both these subtitled and original language versions of some of the classic Godzilla movies, like, Monster Zero, among others. And I love that because there are differences in those movies, subtle differences. So that's something to talk. Rumble
in the Bronx has the best dubbing.
But also, there's some movies like we were talking about Akira, the animated film it was released in the States in the early 90s, and there are different dubbed versions of it. They're actually quite good. A friend of mine, Jerry Beck, from years ago, worked for a company that worked on the dubbing. They did an amazing job, hired some great, there are some really good dubbing. Just my preference is, my default setting is subtitled, and then I'll go dubbed. We got to wrap this up, Alan, even though we've got like over 100 people watching. Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you. We appreciate the chat. You are part of this show. If you are new to the channel, please smash that like button. Actually, even better yet, slap that like button, slap that subscribe button.
Oh, wow.
And we thank you for joining us. We are Film Threat on everything. Film Threat on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. I am that Chris Gore, my personal on Twitter and all that stuff. I'm that Chris Gore and everything. But I'll say this: I don't tweet all that much, and I pretty much post and ghost. And because I think that we live in a weird shit show time. And so there you are. Alan, where can people find you?
Yeah, I'm just my pal on Twitter. Also, if you're in San Diego tomorrow, Saturday, I will be performing at the National Comedy Theater doing some improv comedy there.
And I have seen Alan perform at the National Comedy Theater, and wow, was that awkward. Alan does this improv comedy. Well, he'll be thrown some weird, you kind of have to go with the flow, and Alan way goes with the flow is all I want to say.
Well, that was the dirty show. That was the dirty show. Tomorrow will be the family-friendly show. And it's, again, don't take your daughter to your dirty show.
Yes, yeah. And thank you for everyone in the chat. You are part of the show, and I appreciate you so much. We're going to start doing more of these streams. We're going to get to 3 streams a week. Right now, we're doing 2. Next Wednesday night, we'll be talking about Nick Cage's movie. So join us for next Wednesday. And we're going to talk about, I think we missed a couple movies. We keep saying we're going to talk about some movies. We'll get some of those reviews in. That'll be a late night stream for Hollywood on the Rocks. And then we'll be doing our normal Friday live stream talking about, I don't know, whatever opened. And support us and buy something. Remember, go to shop.filmthreat.com. Thank you again. Thank you. And Marcus Marchiori says, thank you guys for the streaming. Came from Critical Drinker. We need more guys like you. Let's make our own movies awards and screw that Oscar stuff. Nobody watches anymore. Okay, anymore off. Okay, Marco.
Our own movie awards.
Real final plug. Okay, before we end the stream, is the biggest night in indie film. It's Award This. You can follow Award This on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We just announced, if you go to filmthreat.com, if you go to our news section, we announced our nominees for this year. It's about 72 movies in all different categories: indie sci-fi, indie horror, pop culture documentary, music documentary, all across the spectrum of types of indie films. 72 different types of indie movies that we recommend that are all nominated, including indie comedy, where we have Donnie's Bar Mitzvah and Welcome to what's the Browntown?
Win a Trip to Browntown.
Win a Trip to Browntown. Why do I keep saying Welcome to Browntown? But yeah, in fact, I'm gonna share a screen. I'm gonna share a screen for a second because I need to show you what we're up to with this. This is an award show that's partially a parody of an award show. It's kind of like, it's sort of part parody of an award show, but it's also a genuine award show in and of itself. And we hope you join us for it. If you go to awardthis.com, you can sign up and you can get tickets to it. It's the only award show. Try to get a ticket to the Oscars. Just try to get a ticket to the Spirit Awards. Try to get a ticket to any of the DGA Awards, the SAG Awards. They don't want you. They don't want you. But we want you. You can buy a ticket to Award This. It's at the Frida Cinema on Saturday, May 21st at I think at 7 p.m.
Yes.
There's going to be a red carpet that starts, I think, at like 6. There's cocktails. You want to have an award experience? I'm going to be wearing a tux. Show up. Gift bags for everybody. Drinks. Appetizers, an after party on a rooftop in Santa Ana at the Frida Cinema. This is the website, which kind of gives you links to highlights from previous. Last year, we did it at the drive-in. That's Cody Renee Cameron from the movie Corona Zombies and one of the Corona Zombies from Full Moon. Yeah, they were nominated in the category WTF and Best Movie Made During the Lockdown. So that was Cody Renee Cameron was there. This is our highlights from our 2020 awards, which was done at the Studio Movie Grill. 2021, we did it at a drive-in to kind of get around. And then in 2019, we did it on a couch. Oh my God. And it's a big party.
You don't want to linger on that photo?
It's a big party. We're literally just having a party to hang out, right? So join us at this party. Got like a red carpet. You can get your picture taken there. Hey, like it's actors, comedians, movie critics. It's super fun. It's our chance to meet you. We don't take these awards particularly seriously. We don't take them very seriously. And we're going to be showing you some videos from past years. Last year, we did a tribute to masks in the movies, which is kind of weird. But if you go to the Film Threat YouTube channel, you can find all these videos of the individual categories. You can watch last year's awards. It's truly an independent film award show where everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. Sort of true diversity in the sense of diversity of thought, diversity of all types of movies, all types. It's a blast. And we kind of like, we're kind of like, we know award shows are stupid and lame. We just want to have fun. John Bailey is he's our announcer. Does anyone know John Bailey? John Bailey from Honest Trailers. You ever heard John Bailey? He does. I mean, I can't do his voice. Oh, there's me. I'm wearing jeans and a tuxedo jacket. I'll actually be in a full tux this year, but it's fun. It's an award show with a sense of humor, and it's an opportunity to discover a lot of the indie films that we're talking about. You can see we show clips and everything. It's a lot of fun. So you can watch the past shows on our YouTube channel. Just search the Film Threat YouTube channel for Award This, and a whole bunch of fun stuff comes up. It was a great party, and it's just an excuse to hang out with people. It was a blast. I don't know. Any questions about that? Let me know. But thank you for, this is what we're doing here. Oh, we're getting spammed. We're getting spammed.
We did miss the super chat, by the way. I'll take care of the spam, but we did miss the super chat.
Oh, I missed the super chat. Let's get to the super chat. Where is that? Marksman of 117B for $2 says, have you seen T-34 WW World War II tank movie free on YouTube? Not only have I seen it, our trailer on the Film Threat YouTube channel, we kind of launched our YouTube channel like in 2018. We were just posting trailers. There's the trailer for that movie is actually on our channel, and it's got like over 1 million views. So, and a lot of people that is amazing, and it's free on YouTube. Yeah, there's a lot of really good movies free on YouTube. Thank you, Marksman of 117B for the $2. Yeah, another film I would recommend on YouTube that's free is 24 by 36, which is a documentary about movie trailers this year. Hey, oh my God, Gabriel, dang, that tuxedo and jeans is totally style the rebel. Discord of yore. I'm a rebel at heart, but I'm tend to like my way of rebellion is not like I have no tattoos. I have no piercings, though I did pierce my ear way back in the day in the 80s. That has since healed up, but I don't have anything interesting. Like I don't dye my hair anywhere. My way of rebelling is my ideas. I feel like ideas is probably a more powerful way of rebellion, but there you go. And look, best cams are back, says Film Philosopher. Yeah. And Marksman of 117B, it's a fun movie. But thank you. We got to roll here, Alan. We're getting
spammed like big time.
We're getting spammed big time. Hey, it happens. It's fine. But to me, ideas and the Film Philosopher, I'm going to end it with this. His hair is natural. And actually, look, I woke up, rolled out of bed, and this just sort of does whatever it does. So there you go. And Patrick Lemire says my tattoos are all mental. Alan, we got to take us out here. But what?
Hey,
I did not get a lot of sleep last night. Let's just say that. But Alan, I think it's important that you say what we always say at the end, which is,
let's get out of here.